Okay, so I think we're live. Let's see here. It is 1:16 in the morning. It is 2/22/2026. So we're pretty much at the end of February here, and it feels like it. That's for sure. We've got pretty decent storm system coming in this weekend here. Hopefully we miss most of it, but anyways, good to see everybody. Hold on a second here. Let me. We have Paula in the house. There's Paula right there. Good to see Paula. We have unindicted co-conspirators in here. Good to see you. Good to see. I think I saw Miranda in here. Miranda is right. There's Mustang right there. Good to see Mustang. Let's see here. Who else we got? We got. There's Miranda right there. It's always good to see Miranda Lee in here. We got Nicole in here. Good to see Nicole. Hope everybody's doing well. Hope everybody's safe. Let's see here. And that's it for now. That's good enough. We got Brian in here. Brian's right there. Good to see Brian. Always good to see Brian in here. There's Tracy right there. Good to see Tracy. Let's see here. And that's it. That's good enough for now. So let's see here. What do we got to talk about? We're going to go over some of the cases that we normally, true crime events of the week. I will soon open Pokemon packs. Oh, cool. That sounds interesting. I was just over there in Rick Snae's chat tonight. Very good chat. It was good to see Freckle Joy. I haven't seen Freckle Joy in forever. Very insightful person. She's always been, I've always liked her for a while. But good to see Rick back in action, too. Like I said, we're going to go over the true crime cases of the week here. I got the missing person case of the week. We'll get back into the Nancy Guthrie case here. But let me play my intro, and then we'll get started. Good to see everybody. Like I said, I hope right for Dorma, it's looking like 1 to 3 inches and windy. Fiend's in here, too. Good to see Fiend. All right, so let me play an intro. We'll be back, and we'll get into this here. Praise Jesus, the pews are filling up at the Church of Owl. Like it. I like it a lot. That's fucking fantastic. All right, what am I doing here? I'm gonna hold on a second. I want to play an intro. Hold on, let's see here. And then we'll get going. Let's see here. We'll do this one. Be right back, guys. It's always good to see everybody. Hope everybody's well. Be right back. All right, so that's the end of that. There, we got Fiends in here. Always good to see Fiend. There's Gretchen's in here. Good to see Gretchen. Let's see here. All right, so let's get going. A lot of stuff happening this week. I do want to get into the first thing though that came up last week. Hold on, let me hide my face. All right, I came across this last week and I forgot to play it, to be honest with you. But I do want to play this here because I find it kind of interesting. Following, okay. Let's do this here. Hold on a second. All right, so this is involving. I don't know if you guys have seen this. The Kurt Cobain thing. Kurt Cobain obviously was in Nirvana, and he was unalived a while ago. This is going to be a little triggering because I had to press uh, this button here for this. So let's check into this here. And I did the follow. I did the follow up here, so I don't know if they're going to reopen this here. But anyways, forensic researcher Michelle Wilkins says that she met with Seattle police. Hold on, let me share this here. Hold on a second. I did. Okay. To discuss the international review into the 1994. I can't believe it's been that long. Holy shit. Unaliving of Kurt Cobain and the conclusions he may have been murdered instead of dying by S. Their response, they said they weren't even going to look at the evidence, but I do want to play this here because I found this, I don't know, kind of interesting here. So let's check this out.
Been Kurt Cobain's 59th birthday. The Nirvana frontman died in April 1994 at just 27 years old, and his death was ruled a suicide, a self-inflicted shotgun wound, and that conclusion by the King County Medical Examiner has stood for more than 30 years. But now, two separate private reviews challenged that rule.
This is so strange. It's like yeah, it's Shibby right there. There's Shibby. I was asking about you in Rick's chat tonight. That's too funny. I can't believe it's been that long. I really can't.
You have one calling the investigation botched. You have another calling or alleging Cobain was killed, urging a reinvestigation amid those claims. And yesterday, the Seattle Police Department issued a statement, writing in part, the Kurt Cobain case remains closed. The SPD has no plans to revisit it.
I always found this case, well, not case, but this unaliving to be a little bit strange. But a lot of these cases here, they think they just kind of the Belushi case too. But this here, I'm surprised they're not trying to reopen this here.
So what's driving this? Who's fighting back? Okay, before we even get into it, a warning here. Some of the crime scene photos that we're going to show you incredibly great.
It's Charles Manson's in here. Good to see Chuck. It's always good to see Shibby in here too. Haven't seen you for a while, buddy. All right, so let's go back to this here.
But they are important for evidentiary value. Okay, first, retired.
So this whole thing may be a little triggering, just to let everybody know.
Seattle Police Captain Neil Lowe, who has been with the 50 years with the department, audited the case in 2005. He was on our show last night. Says he now believes Cobain's death could be a homicide due to abnormalities in physical evidence. Then, an unofficial private team of forensic scientists re-examined the autopsy and the crime scene materials and published a peer-reviewed paper in the International Journal Forensic Science outlining what they say are inconsistencies with an instantaneous gunshot death. They point to organ damage consistent with oxygen deprivation, so let's say from a drug overdose, lack of blood spatter, the placement of Cobain's hand, ejected shotgun shells, and the final lines of the alleged suicide note. So their conclusion, the possibility that Cobain was incapacitated before the fatal shot and that the scene may have been staged. I'm joined now by part of that team behind that study, Michelle Wilkins, a forensic researcher and case study coordinator, and Brian Burnett, a forensic scientist. Happy to have both of you. Michelle, I'll start with you. Your reaction to the Seattle Police Department statement, because I understand you spoke to them, you met with them.
Hold on a second here. We got, I got disappeared from a couple of channels I'm around. How did you get disappeared from a couple of channels? They didn't find his body until a couple of days later. Yeah, it's kind of strange. This whole case, like I said, it's been a little weird.
Yeah, we had about an hour meeting with them, and we went in with the best of intentions. We thought, you know what, we're doing this the right way. We spent a year and a half collecting evidence from the best scientists around the world, and we went in there with hopes that they would actually look at the evidence and engage with it and answer our questions.
And they said,
This guy here, Kurt Cobain, he's right up there, in my opinion, as far as, I mean, just completely awesome songwriters. This guy was just intense.
"You don't believe it?"
They said, we're not even going to look at your evidence. We stand by our earlier assessment that it was suicide. So they did not engage with the evidence we brought in.
Brian, if you can summarize this, because I know there's a lot. Why do you believe it's a homicide? What are the strongest pieces of evidence that you believe Cobain was killed?
Well, what was so important was Michelle coming up with the autopsy report, which made everything possible. And then we have the release of 37 images of the homicide scene. I call it homicide because that's the conclusion, of which one of them, which you just showed, was the left arm, which had so much information, forensic information, that was so helpful in this. And a third item that was particularly important was Detective Sininsky did a summary in 2014, or it was 2016, where he
anytime you have a I don't know, anytime you have a celebrity like this that's just I understand that people do stuff like this here, but it's strange how they didn't do a lot of they just, in this case here, it seems like they were quick to say that it was an S, without really investigating it. And I think this has been going on for a while here, but this just came up. This came up a few days ago. It came up last week, and then the police said that they weren't going to open a case, and this is what this is from. So it's always interesting to keep an eye open for the stuff.
He again concluded that the was a suicide, and he provided 5 images of the shotgun, which, because of the resolution, was so important in seeing the blood stains that were on the shotgun. And from all that, it took a number of months to bring it all together. And it was a multidisciplinary analysis. There were 4 Italian scientists that were involved in the study. And of course, it covered the shotgun, the autopsy, and the direction of the shotgun, the discharge, the gases emitted.
Right.
And then there's the toxicology, which was so important in all this. And Michelle really, as I said, really brought this all together just by finding the autopsy report.
And Michelle, so do you have a theory of the case about what happened to him?
About what happened to Kurt?
Yeah.
Yeah, I believe he was given a hot shot. The SPD wants you to believe he gave himself 3 needles because there was too much heroin to just get in one. So they want you to believe he gave himself 3 needles, which we don't believe. We believe he was given a hot shot, and then he was,
Okay, so I'm just going to kind of hold on a second. I'm going to kind of okay, so on March 18, 1994, Love phoned the Seattle police informing them that Cobain was, not doing well, and he had locked himself into a room with a gun. Police arrived and confiscated several guns and a bottle of pills from Cobain, who insisted that he was not suicidal but had locked himself in the room. Actually, let me share this here because hold on a second. This is a little bit of a reading here. You knew it was one of those. Oh my God, it's Heather. Heather's here. Good to see Heather. Always good to see Heather in here. I hope Heather's well. I hope she's doing well. Let me see here. So this is the official, well, not official, but this is a Wikipedia's. Only vaguely aware of who Cobain was and put off by the rambling messages he left, Arnold did not return his calls. Sometimes in late March, Cobain tried once again to connect with the author. Trying to get to. Okay, so on April 8th, I'm assuming that's 1994, Cobain's body was discovered at his Lake Washington Boulevard home by an electrician. Somebody who said that in the chat wins the prize. I don't know what that prize is, but all right. So let's go here. Where was I? Who had arrived to install the security system. An S note was found addressed to Cobain's childhood imaginary friend, Boda, which stated that Cobain had not felt the excitement of listening to as well as creating music, along with writing for too many years now. Cobain's body had been there for days. Do they actually know how many days? The coroner's report estimated he died, so April 5th, so 3 days, at the age of 27. And that's basically the end of the write-up on that. So let me go back to this here. Let me get out of here. I just think it's strange. I think it's always kind of strange.
Incapacitated by heroin, and then they continued to shoot him in the mouth and place his hand around the barrel of the gun after he was shot.
So Michelle, we have about a minute left. Explain to us why you think the police department doesn't want to hear this, and what are you going to do next? How are you going to put pressure on them?
We think they're just hedging. They're just the boys in blue. We think that they're just telling people, yeah, we checked, but we know they didn't. All we want them to do is do the investigation that they should have done 31 years ago. That's it. Just answer our questions. And we're not going anywhere until they do the job that they have told the public that they already did.
Well, listen, I mean, this is, I think, the third time we've covered it on our show. It is gaining a lot of interest. And I will tell you, in my experience, when you see that amount of pressure, at the very least, sometimes you see a reinvestigation, a reexamination. If that happens, would love to have you both back on. Michelle Wilkins, Brian Burnett, thank you so much. Really appreciate it.
I mean, they have the same kind of attention to, I forget the name of that case. Recently it's been going on. What the hell is her name? The woman that apparently unalived herself 18 times in the back. What the hell was her name? Greenberg. So I don't know. I don't understand why. I don't understand why they're not investigating this, but a lot of it probably has to do with money. I just I find it interesting when all of a sudden, out of the blue, right, they're coming back up with information like this. I think they should at least, think about it. But anyways, let's move on to something else here. It's good to see who's in here. Charles is back in here. Gretchen, it's always good to see you guys. Let's do this one here. This came up too. I'll keep an eye on that though. Let's see here. Let's go. Boston Christian's here. Where's Boston Christian? Hold on a second here. Boston Christian's in here. Let's see here. Where'd you go? Ellen Greenberg. That's her name. Thank you. I should have just asked Tracy. I should just know to do that. Where's Boston? Where is she? She's in here somewhere. There she is, right there. It's always good to see Boston Christian in here. It's always good to see Mustang in here too. Good to see you for sure. It's good to see Shibby in here. All right, let's do this here. All right, so this came out. Let's see here. This came out 5 days ago. This came out right after I went off my life the next day, I think. Dramatic video shows woman running into a store as the ex-boyfriend allegedly attempts to kidnap her. So this is one of those abductions gone wrong here, which is good news. She was able to, there's two of these here. So let's do this here.
A terrifying situation. That woman jumped out of the U-Haul, ran across this parking lot and into the tobacco store, trying to get any help that she could. We spoke to the worker who was inside at the time. She detailed those intense moments.
There was blood down her face. Her pants were ripped. She didn't have shoes on. And she kept like repeating, screaming, like, I've been kidnapped. He tried to kidnap me.
It was a normal Saturday at the Butler Tobacco and Grocery for worker Tori Adams. But around 2 that afternoon, everything took a turn.
She's like, he's coming for me. He's coming for me. And I said, get in the back room.
Surveillance video from the store shows a woman jumping out of the U-Haul at the intersection of Pillow Street and sprinting into the store. A man now identified as Kenneth Clark chasing after her. Tori came face to face with Clark and didn't back down.
He kept yelling at me and I kept charging towards him, like just to try to like walk him back out the door. Like I didn't know what he was capable of. All I knew was like this girl was battered, bloody, sitting in my back room. My son was behind the counter and I was like, no, we're not doing this today.
Butler City Police say the situation started to unfold on McGeary Street when Clark, who's the woman's ex-boyfriend, hit and strangled her and then dragged her into the U-Haul, threatening to kill her. Once the woman got away and Clark left the
Watch this. I don't know if you guys have ever driven one of these things here, but it's probably not the greatest getaway vehicle right here.
tobacco shop, a chase started and went all the way into Cranberry Township. You can see in this video roughly half a dozen police cruisers from multiple agencies following that
Why don't they just not do the pit maneuver on a vehicle like this? It's so easy. It would be so easy. There's 1, 2, there's like 8 cops following this guy.
U-Haul. He was taken into custody near Myoma Road, where he's now facing numerous charges, including kidnapping and
Oh, they did. They had the spike strips here. Hold on a second. Now let's do this again. Fucking guys. Oh, people are crazy. Oh, look at this guy. It's too funny.
her. Once the woman got away and Clark left the tobacco shop, a chase started and went all the way into Cranberry Township. You can see in this video roughly half a dozen police cruisers from multiple agencies following that U-Haul. He was taken into custody
like you
near
read it.
Myoma Road, where he's now facing numerous charges, including kidnapping and aggravated assault.
Where's Dino? Dino's in here. Those people are stupid, man. I'm telling you. A freaking U-Haul. Oh my God. And a small U-Haul. Hold on. Here we go. Applause for the idiot. All right. Sorry.
As for Tori, she says that she's no hero in this situation.
Somebody comes rushing up to you and says, help me, I've been kidnapped, I'm hurt. Like you could physically see that she was injured. I want to say that anybody would do that.
Of course, we'll
Zamboni.
keep you updated on this developing situation here and online at WTAE.com. For now, covering Butler County in the city of Butler, Ava Rash, Pittsburgh's Action News 4.
All right. So that's that there. We got one more. Let's see if they got more of this guy here. Hold on a second.
We continue to follow a developing story out of Butler County tonight, where a Pittsburgh man is now in custody after police say he allegedly kidnapped his ex-girlfriend and led police.
Look at this guy. He didn't even bother buttoning his pants.
Police on a chase through Butler in a U-Haul truck. Good evening and thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Mamie Ba in for Erica Stanish. KDKA's Ricky Sayer has the details, including how that woman got away.
This girl came in shaking, shoeless, bloody, and crying that she was being kidnapped.
Cameras captured that moment at a Butler tobacco shop where a woman escaped what police say is her kidnapper.
I was kind of like, what the hell's going on?
Lisa Albert manages the Butler
Hold on a second here. Look at this. $13.43 for Marlboro. That's just, oh my God.
Like, what the hell's going on?
Lisa Albert manages the Butler Tobacco and Grocery. We spoke on the phone with her employee, Tori Adams, who was inside at the time.
So I told her to go hide in the back room.
The woman's ex-boyfriend then left the U-Haul.
So he came in yelling that supposedly she had stolen things from him.
She put herself between him and the back of the store where the woman was.
And I told him he needed to go. I was already on the phone with the police.
It got the man.
Dino was in Seattle? I don't think so. I don't think Dino's going to drive his trailer to Seattle. Let's see here. Zamboni. Is that game on tomorrow? I'm going to miss it. $13. Gods and Little Fishes. Yeah. $13. Almost $14. It's Big Fishes in here. Good to see Big Fish. He looks awful in yellow.
And to leave. Police say the victim said 53-year-old Kenneth Clark hit the woman repeatedly following a fight, tearing out a lip ring. She said Clark
I don't think this guy should be allowed to have a girlfriend, to be honest with you.
strangled her to the point she began losing consciousness. After being shoved into a wall, she says he pulled her by her hair into a U-Haul.
Look at this guy. What? That's a big advertisement right there, bro.
Being used for her move.
Everyone has been very concerned for her today.
The woman told police the man held a scissor up to her as he drove, saying he threatened to kill her. Deciding to attempt to escape, she told police as she left the U-Haul that the man stabbed her with the scissor, hitting her backside and cutting her pants.
But I just hope that she's okay now.
It all left Adams with a feeling she's working to move past.
Scared for her, scared for myself, scared for my son.
Oh yeah, it looks like she's got a bloody lip there. Hold on a second.
Scared for myself,
Yeah,
scared
right,
for my
right there. You see, kind of.
son. I think that was the most of it. Was my 13-year-old was sitting behind the counter with me, and I was like, no, not today. Like, my kid's here, because I don't know what this man's capable of.
The man was taken into custody after a brief police chase.
He's lucky I wasn't here.
Reporting in Butler, Ricky Sayer, KDK TV News.
Yeah, he would have had to pay for cigarettes. All right, so I think that was kind of weird. Some of these people actually get away, which is good. All right, so let's move on to, hold on a second here. I do want to cover a little bit of this case here too, because it's been going, this D. Warner case has been going on for I think about a week now. So D. Warner was the woman that was missing for forever, it seemed like, and everybody pretty much thought it was the husband, and it turned out it was the husband. They found her in a sealed storage tank in a, basically I think in a barn. So he's been suspected of unaliving his wife here, D. Warner, in a I think last week sometime. I think this actually day 6 was, I think day 6 might have been Friday. But anyways, here's kind of like a recap of day 6 here and a little bit else from that. I don't know that for quite a while.
Dale Warner murder trial. I'm Melissa Andrews, a crime and investigative reporter covering the trial of Dale Warner, who's accused of killing his wife Dee and then welding her inside a fertilizer tank where she was found 3 years later. Today, the jury got to see videos of Dale in the hours after his wife first disappeared, when her children were.
So I'll just kind of read this. Hold on a second here. So D. Warner was a woman who disappeared from Franklin Township in Michigan. I think that's up where Miranda Lee is, around April 25th, 2021. And they suspected it was always considered to be some sort of a crime. On November 22nd, 2003, her husband, Dale John Warner, was charged with her unaliving. Her body was discovered by police on August 17th. That was a year and a half ago now, while executing a search warrant on Dale Warner's Paragon Road property. The body was discovered in a resealed, so he basically welded this thing shut, similar to a residential propane storage tank. What a piece of dog shit. So here we go with this here. Did you change your chat filter? My funny comments on show? No, I don't think so. I don't even think I know how to do that. Hold on a second.
Were searching for her on Sunday, April 25th. And those videos were introduced mostly through a witness named Ivan Boyd. He is the 16th witness of this trial, the first of today. And Ivan Boyd used to work on the farm for about 4 years. He is also Zach Bach's fiance, who is D. Warner's son. Ivan's testimony was definitely the longest we've had so far. He says he was employed at Wareg Farms for about 4 years. He said his relationship with Dee depended on the day. She had good days and bad days. He also helped out with the trucking company, would run loads with deliveries and pickups sometimes when it was slow on the farm. Most of his work happened in the old shop, and that's where most of the tools and supplies were. He says that Dale was primarily responsible for chemical applications and anhydrous planting, anything small and little that needed to be done on the weekends. He was asked, did
Yeah,
Dale
it's this case here has been. It's always the husband. It's always like very rarely is it not the husband. I don't know. I think the United States is going to beat Canada this time. I mean, it'll be close. Yeah, we're going to get a blizzard here. Maybe not so much here inland, but the Cape and the islands, eastern Rhode Island, the New Hampshire seacoast. What we have of it, and then some ports of Maine will get pummeled. Yep, it's definitely going to be a blizzard. Let's see here.
weld anything? He said once or twice. 2 others did the welding, including Jim Hawkins. So he met Zach Bach 2 months before working on the farm. He left the farm in June of 2021 and also left Zach, but then they reconciled in September of 2021. He said Dale would typically drive the Kubota in 2021. No one else drove this vehicle. The JCB or front loader was used to load fertilizer and various things around the farm. Typically, the welding was done in the old shop, Barn 1.
I think these people feel like that they're never going to get caught, right? I mean, if it's a domestic thing like this here, the husband or the boyfriend or the person closest to the victim is usually going to be the suspect. And it's not always the case that it is the case, but, it was pretty much going to be him the whole time. That was just my opinion.
There were several welders in there as well as in the new shop. He never saw any welding or did any welding in the spray barn, but the paint was kept there. Bottles of gas used for
If you want to hide a body, you're going to learn how to weld really quick, right? Like, and didn't they check that barn? I'm pretty sure that they had checked that barn before. I'm not sure. But this case here has always kind of reminded me of the case over there in Colorado with what's her face. Its name's mistaking me now. That trial should be hitting pretty soon too with Brian. What the hell is his name? Not Brian. Forget his name now. Now I can't remember that case.
for welding and gloves used for welding and torching as well. The forklift used for moving and
What's going on with Mino Dino? Let's see here. I'm going to lurk. My back was killing me. Morphew. Thank you, Michelle. Good to see you, Michelle. C7939. Thank you for that. Morphew. Yep. Barry Morphew. I knew it started with a B. It's always good to see Michelle in here. What's going on with Mino Dino? Your back is killing you. Oh, that's terrible. Go lay down or chill. All right, buddy. Let's see here. Becky's here too. Good to see Becky. 33. Dino's here. If you're taking off, Dino, good to see you. Always good to see Mino Dino in here. Fiend's back is killing him too. Let's see here. Morphine will take care of everything. Let's see. There's a forklift.
tanks and pallets, as well as the power washer, were shown. He said he would typically work on Sundays, but not April 25th. He did go in because he had to work on radiator hoses on a truck that day. So he took his young.
When you cover this shit here for long periods of times and you listen to cases like, I listen to cases every single night in my freaking car when I'm driving around all over the planet. But these cases tend to morph into the other ones. You know, it's like, there's just so many freaking cases like this. It's probably never going to end.
Younger brother with him and got to the farm around mid to late morning. He mostly worked in the old shop that day and says he saw Dale 3 to 4 times that day. So So we watched surveillance video from that day starting at 6:58 a.m. Again, this is April 25th. And at this point, no one knows that Dee is missing. Dale.
See here. Mustang, I'm back. Indiana for a bit. Lost mom. Illness, then COVID. Oh my God, that's terrible. Oh, that's terrible. I hope you feel better. Lost mom. Oh, that's terrible. Oh, that's sad news. Sorry to hear that, Boston Christian, if I'm reading that right. That sucks. That's awful. Dino's front is killing him. Sorry to hear that, Boston Christian. I hope you're feeling okay. There's everything going around right now. You got COVID, you got the flu, you got respiratory, whether it's RSV or that sucks. Yep, that sucks. Sorry to hear that, Boston.
Is shown in the JCB or the front loader. He was asked, did that seem strange to you at first? He said yes. Then there was objection for relevance, and that was then stricken. Did you notice anything different?
I should be watching this trial, but I just don't have enough time at this point. But I've been kind of reviewing. I think day 5 was pretty good. But this is kind of like just a recap of the day 6 stuff here.
Different about Mr. Warner? Well, he was not wearing a hat. We all wore hats.
We got a lot of great creators in here. If you got a channel, I know Tracy's got a channel. If you guys have channels, feel free to throw them in the chat. I haven't seen Southern Gal in here this week here, but she's got a great channel. Southern Gal's an amazing person. Always good with the missing cases. There's Shibby's in here somewhere. Shibby's got a great channel too. Mustang, everybody, all great creators. So if you guys have channels, feel free to throw them in the chat. Just sorry to hear about that from Boston Christian. That's terrible. No one ever prepares you for when your parents get old. It just sucks. Your channel has still no content. Well, let's get going. Fina has a channel, so feel free to throw that in there. You got a ranch, you can do that. Get your channel in the chat. Yep. I love promoting creators. I know Brian's in here. Brian's got a good channel too. Let's hope he got his 1,000 subscribers. Promoting good channels is awesome. It's what we do.
I've hardly ever seen him without a hat. The next image we see is about 7:30 a.m. and Dale's going back to the spray barn at 7:40.
Thank you, Mustang.
At 11:18, Dale is in the sprayer. At 12:43, Ivan and his brother are in a video. When Dale comes in, he doesn't remember the conversation that day, except when Dale says he thought that Dee had left.
Yes, Silky is awesome. Silky Southern Teen is fantastic. She's got a great channel. Peggy O's got a great channel. We have Amy G's got a great channel. We got Dirty Diana's got a great channel. I mean, a lot of great people. Pat on the back. Thank you. Thank you, Hebby, for doing that. So I'm pretty sure that's who you meant. Silky Southern's awesome.
Dale's Kubota is in this barn. He recognizes Dale based on the clothing and the posture in the photo or the video. At 12:51, the video is in the shop and Dale is in there. He is driving back to the spray barn in the Kubota. Jaron, his son, arrives in his truck and Dale is following him on the Kubota. At 1:13, it's going into the barn. Dale is in the storage shop in the back of the old shop, and there is an image of him near some welding supplies. He then gets back on the Kubota at 1:26 near the office, heading back toward the spray barn. At 1:46, he's on the sprayer. A semi is there, pictured at 2:46. Dale is on the Kubota. At 2:51, he's back by the scales. At 3:01, walking toward the scale around the corner of the office. At 3:18 on the Kubota. At 4:29, we see Todd Nahrink's pickup, and Dale is on the JCB at 4:32. At 4:52, he's looking at welding equipment in the old shop, or we're looking at welding equipment, but Dale is in there with a welder. You can see him walking out of the shop at 4:56. He now has a hat on. At 5:06, he's seen carrying a welding mask and gloves. At 6:41, the JCB goes by and there's a welder in the bucket, a blue welder and a gas tank that was yellow. He was asked, did you ever see an anhydrous tank inside the spray barn in the 4 years that you worked there? He said no. This would be uncommon. These tanks were stored, if they were full, along the driveway, and there were others stored at Carson Road and Paragon Road. We have a short break. We come back and we see an image, and Dale has some grinding discs. There's a big green toolbox with a welder next to it. At 6:43, Dale is with those same items in another pick. He's asked, did Dale ever leave notes? He looks at some notes with some exhibits. They were lined in loose leaf pages with handwriting. And there were 2 black notebooks and a pink notebook. And he said the writing appeared to be Dale's. This was never addressed with the tag that was on this tank and drawing the conclusion that that writing must be Dale's. That tag was never mentioned. And on cross-examination, they ask, did Dale ever get angry? He said maybe once, and that person absolutely deserved it. He apologized for it. He is laid back. He does not fly off the handle. He never lets his temper get to him, get the best of him. The tanks were made of steel. When you work with the tanks and anhydrous ammonia, you want to wear eye goggles and gloves and work upwind because it can burn your lungs. A plasma cutter cuts steel. At some point, Mr. Warner chats with you and says Mrs. Warner is missing and he was concerned. Is that correct? Yes. Is it fair to say everyone was in and out of there all the time? Yes. You don't dispute talking with him or putting trash into the bucket in the JCB. He says no. Everything was ordinary on the Munger farm that day. It was just another day. On redirect, he was asked, did you ever see Dale moving tanks? He said very rarely. He was told like, oh, you never saw him have a temper, but were you around him a lot? And he said no. He said he wasn't expected on the farm that day. It was a planned day off, but obviously he had some things to do. They talked about Dale's shirt. It was a short sleeve War Ag uniform shirt. The prosecutor asked him, if you weld with a short sleeve shirt on, what will happen? He said, a welder burn. It's like a sunburn for welding continuously for about an hour. So
never weld with a lighter in your pocket. It's bad news.
They showed this picture and then the defense objected to the picture being shown, but the damage was already done. So basically they're showing the picture of the hand, and
pretty sure I'm subbed over there to Fiend 2, but after the live I'll check for sure. But I'm pretty sure I'm subbed to everybody here in the chat.
What is allegedly a welding burn that Dale had from apparently welding. That's the allegation on that day. They talked about the difference between an angle grinder and a plasma cutter. The angle grinder will cut a straighter cut. the angle grinder will also take a bit longer.
Yeah, that just set me off. I mean, I don't watch JLR a lot, but I kind of do. I do watch him sometimes, especially if I'm on the road. I listen to his chat. Um, I think that the more exposure cases get, the better. So I have no problem with that stuff. But Pat Brown stepped out of her. I'm starting to not like her. When I first started true crime, I thought she, was in it for the right thing, and she probably is. But to go after content creators for doing what people want them to do, which is keep exposure on some of these cases, she's out of line, in my opinion, because that's what people do, man. They blame social media for their problems. Speculation is speculation, man. Everybody speculates. Everybody does these things, and for her to, go out and attack content creators like that, I just think it's wrong. It's not. If you don't like it, don't watch it, man. It's the way it is.
The plasma.
He's not doing anything different than the mainstream media is doing out there in some of these cases. I mean, there's got to be 1,000 media vehicles, 1,000 satellites. I mean, these cases, like the Nancy Guthrie case, they bring out every single possible media in imaginable, and I just think it's wrong. Yeah, I mean, he's got every right to be there, just like everybody else does, as far as I'm concerned. Whether you like him or you hate him, who cares? It's media without the bullshit, is what it is.
Will be the quicker of the two. The jury had some questions.
And it sucks because they say that these people are just adding to the speculation. That's exactly what the mainstream media does, speculation. Just they'll take one story and run with it. So they speculate too. It's all speculation. That's what it is. I have no problem with people like JLR. They do what they do, man. It's if it wasn't for that, these people would get no justice for anything. It would be like a milk carton thing. So don't worry. About a week and a half, if they don't find her, the media will be gone, and it'll be up to social media and people like that to keep eyes on the story, right? So it's just the way it goes.
The one that I thought was a good question was, does the plasma cutter need gas to function or cut? The answer is no. It uses an electrical current. I thought that was interesting just because we were talking about some sort of gas tank that accompanies this welder in some of these pictures. The 17th witness, the second of the day, is Jim Hawkins. He works at the Munger property to this day, and he's worked there since 2013. He said he's in charge of getting the anhydrous tanks ready to be used. He fills them up. He talks about that whole.
Honestly, it's I don't want to ever be the type of person in this genre like this here that is doing this for any type of monetary gain or anything like that. It's because this is a tough business, man. This is talking about death and crime and all of these different stories. It's aggravating, but it is what it is. People need justice. People need exposure. Some of these cases, if it wasn't for the social media aspect of it, they'd get none, zero. Even this case we're talking about now, the Dale Warner case, the D. Warner case, that was hot for like 2 weeks, and then the media took off. But there was pressure still there from media companies, the social media, for sure.
Process. He said that he's never put an out of service note on a tank that's out of service, nor has he ever cut the end off a field anhydrous tank, and would never do that. He's also never painted an anhydrous tank, and said that you would never take a tank like this indoors to work on it. he would take the JCB down to the spray barn and take Dale's cans and bottles from his spraying about once or twice a week. He never saw tanks in the spray barn. On cross-examination, they said, you used the tanks that were on the property. He said, yes. They said, you interacted with both Mr. and Mrs. Warner. Were there good days with her and bad days with her? He said, correct. They said, would she scream and yell on bad days? He said, yes. They said, was Mr. Warner easy to get along with? He said, yes. On Saturday, the 24th, you worked until 7 p.m. Everything seemed okay on the farm. Yes. The jury questions, did you ever notice a fresh weld on the tank? No. Would exposure to anhydrous?
Again, I don't have a problem with people's opinions, I mean, it's when you use your platform to, that's the problem I have with, most of mainstream media is they seem to push agendas sometimes. And, I have a problem with that with anything. So, but I mean, at least he's out there doing something. That's all, it's, I don't like his opinion on some stuff either, but, it's got nothing to do with the case. It's just exposure is everything, in my opinion.
Cause a burn on the skin. Yes, he said, but only the liquid. So what did we learn today? We learned in the hours before and after Dee was discovered missing, while her family searched for her, Dale was all over the property and he was seen on camera with welding equipment. He was seen with an anhydrous tank in a barn where typically that wouldn't happen. The defense came in and they really wanted us to know that Dee was the mean one and Dale was the nice one. They wanted us to know that people frequently came to the farm and were handling tanks. The Hardys filled up their tanks. They wanted people to know that, these employees had these opinions, but they didn't work very closely with Dale or seem to know him personally. They certainly will have an opportunity to present their side of this whole story and any evidence that they would like to bring forth, although they're not required to do that. The next testimony is on.
Yeah, I think that's wrong. Like when you're trying to influence other people of your opinion, I think that's definitely, let people form their own opinions. That's my thing.
On Tuesday, starting at 9 a.m.
I just got on her for that because that's what she does now. She comes on. I don't see her doing a lot of stuff. I'm talking about Pat Brown. I don't see her doing a lot of stuff for, she comes on just like everybody else does with the cases and stuff like that. When she first started, she was pretty good, but now, if you don't like somebody, don't see it. It's stupid. But anyways, let's go on to something else. I'll keep following that too. I'm pretty sure there's going to be a guilty verdict there. But you never know, man. That's why we have trials sometimes. All right, so I do want to do this part of the missing persons case. I missed this one last month, so I want to do this one this week here. Part of the missing persons cases here. Let's do this one here. So this is the featured case this week here with Marnie Hughes. She was out over there at Brian Etten 2 this week. So former Marine missing for 4 years. Family leans on the missing community. This is the story of Johnny Rotten. No, this is the story of Brian Hassel. And I'll pull up some information on this here too. So let's do this week is the case of Brian Vladek Hassel this week, December 20th. He should be celebrating his 27th birthday with his family. This was done a month ago, so 2 months ago, actually. Instead of several siblings and father are marking yet another occasion without him. During this difficult time, the Vladek's family has found comfort and support from the missing community, including Nicole and Jim Schmidt with the Gabby Patino Foundation. So here's this here. And I'll pull up the bio. I actually have it up already. So here we go.
I'm Marnie Hughes, and this is Missing. Thank you for joining us. Each week, we cover a missing person case that isn't getting much attention. Every missing person matters, no matter their race, their background.
You got that one. Somebody got it. Hate watch. Yeah. Not saying there exists zero evidence implicating Richard Allen. Johnny Rotten. Yep, absolutely. Out of the blue.
Or their circumstances. And by highlighting these cases and sharing their stories, we believe every case is solvable. And together we can help bring answers to family and friends of the missing. This week's featured case, Brian Vladeck Hassel, missing since November of 2021 from his home in East Orlando. 4 years later, after Vladeck vanished, the Orange County Sheriff's Office posting that they are still actively investigating his case and diligently following up on tips. Vladeck's sister tormented, as is the rest of the family.
That's correct. That's Iggy Pop. All right, here we go. I'll pull up this here.
Family by his disappearance.
And it took a long time to get there. But
I'm going to try to put together some sort of a special on this because I don't feel like I've done a good enough job doing stuff like this here because there's a lot of missing vets too. And I feel like my OCD is pulling me towards doing some sort of a special on, this type of missing file here. And I'm going to try to put together some sort of a special on this here when it comes to veterans or military missing cases here. So it's
I'm just trying to find balance between still living my life, but never going to stop fighting for him.
Coming up, the latest on the search for Vladeck. Bethany will join us along with two special friends that she has made along this difficult journey. Gabby Petito's mom and stepfather, who are helping support the family through this difficult time. First, we have several other missing cases that we would like to share with you. The search continues for Dan Davis, missing in the Chicago area since November 25th. His family believes that Dan suffered a head injury after a car crash, and he may be wandering around disoriented. Dan was last seen at 115 Bourbon Street, where he works as a lighting technician. That's in Marionette Park. Dan has been spotted on neighborhood surveillance cameras in suburban Blue Island. His daughter, Wendy, describes her dad as funny, sarcastic, always laughing. If you see Dan, please call 911 right away. Police in Largo, Florida, launching an...
I'm a vet. I'll probably be missing soon. That's not good. I think we should be more concerned about people before they go missing. I agree with that. I go missing every day when I go to sleep. That's him right there, I think. All right, so just a little bit on this case. This is coming from AI here. As of 20, let me share this. Hold on a second here. I like to get people up to speed here on stuff like this here. This is from AI, so I'll pull up more on this soon. But as of February 22nd, 2026, he remains a missing person. Vladeck, a former Marine, was 22 years old when he disappeared from Orlando, Florida. Why does everybody disappear from Orlando, Florida? In November 2021. Despite extensive searches by the Orange County Sheriff's Office and an ongoing advocacy group by his family, there have been no confirmed sightings since his disappearance. So that's strange because usually there's some people who have claimed to have seen people. But in this case, there have been no confirmed sightings. Latest verified sighting, November 6, 2021 at Foxtail Cafe in Orlando. I'll have to see here. Copy that. Circumstances: he vanished while his father was out of town. He left behind his phone, wallet, and recent purchased pocket knife. 5'8", 220 pounds, brown hair and blue eyes. All right, so let's go here. Go back to this here. Hold on a second. Alligators, maybe. Whoops. It's hard for me to believe that anybody can go missing without being seen on some sort of video in Orlando, Florida. I mean, I don't know if anybody's been to Orlando, Florida, but it's literally the vacation capital of the world. There's cameras freaking everywhere.
Urgent search to find Petro Kukwo. Petro's been missing since Friday, December 12th, from his home at the Point at Clearwater apartment
Invasive
complex.
pythons.
He is 87 years old, originally from Albania, and
Hold on a second. Invasive pythons. This deserves a. Okay, it's not letting me do it again. Hold on a second. There you go.
diagnosed with dementia. Police say Petro does not speak any English. Authorities say they are optimistic they will find him, but they really need the public's help. So this is where you come in. He left home in his pajamas. If you see Petro, call 911 or reach out to the Largo, Florida Police.
This is sad right here, man. This is awful.
Police Department. This is Amy Bradley, missing since 1998 on a cruise ship with her family when she vanished. Amy's story, as you may know, made national headlines at the time of her disappearance. All these years later, though, her case still.
Yeah, it's like the white van, right? Or white car. Anytime there's a crime or something going on, there's always either going to be a white car or a white van. It's just the way it goes. And it's going to be probably the Mexican cartels.
Still remains a mystery. Amy's disappearance getting renewed attention this year, the focus of a Netflix special. I spoke to Amy's brother, Brad, recently about her disappearance, and he tells
We just did this case here, Amy Bradley, a few weeks ago.
me the special has given the investigation momentum, some promising new leads and renewed hope for the family to find Amy.
You and I both know there are so many theories around Amy's disappearance, that she went overboard, that she left on her own, that she was drugged, kidnapped, and trafficked, that she's still alive, possible sightings. Is there a theory that you lean towards the most based on the evidence that you have?
I believe that, Amy was drugged by drink. Elizabeth Lewis claimed that yellow.
That's why I don't go on cruises, because you're either going to probably get dead or you're probably going to have some sort of a stomach bug.
Came back down to the bar after they had, seated themselves on the second level of the Viking Lounge. He brought back up a dark drink and handed it to Amy. And then she said they both got up and walked towards the back. So I think that Amy was taken down. Yellow, potentially handed her off to an accomplice who took her down into the bottom of the ship. And then she was removed, in my opinion, via the backside.
And then possibly loaded onto a boat and taken to land. Brad tells me there are several new promising leads in the case. However, he can't talk about them specifically yet due to not wanting to compromise the investigation. He does believe Amy is alive. If you'd like to see my full interview with Brad, you can visit my Missing with Marnie YouTube page. Also, for more on the case, go to amybradleysmissing.com or missingamybradley.com. 47 years, that is how long Terry Naiman has been looking for a little girl that she fostered. A picture, the only thing she has to remember Cammie at 4 months old.
I actually had a case we're going to go over a little bit later that she went missing like 45 years ago, and she literally went missing. She doesn't want to be found.
Cammie lived with Terry.
So it does happen. People do just take off.
And her family for a year, born at a hospital in Huntsville, Alabama. They tried to adopt her, but Cammie was eventually placed with another family and adopted in South Alabama. Terry was told they named the little girl Heather Elizabeth.
That's
If we
awful.
just find out that she was okay and happy, that would mean the world to us.
There are more than 1,000 shares within the first day.
I just can't get over it. There's so many people out there that want us to find her.
It would be the best Christmas present in the world for my mom and daddy to be able to see her.
This is the thing that sucks with these cases here is you see these people. I've mentioned this before here. Like you follow these cases and like the Jennifer Kesse case down in Florida, like, 10 years ago, the guy looked so young. Now he looks, the father looks just old, much older. Same with Mara Murray. She, her father just looks, it's the progression of the age thing. It just sucks. This is 47 freaking years. It's a long time.
Yeah. I just can't imagine what it's going to be like if we find her.
For years, they have tried to find that little baby girl called Cammie. To tell her saying goodbye was the hardest thing they've ever done and tell her how much she is loved. Now to this week's featured case. Brian Vladeck Hassel. On Saturday, he should be celebrating his 27th birthday with his loving family in Florida. Instead, his 7 siblings and father are marking yet another occasion without Vladeck. As with all of our cases, News Nation's missing unit is not giving up on this search, and neither is his family. It's a Saturday night like no other at the University of Central Florida.
Our family will always stay strong together.
Instead of weekend revelry, the campus's reflecting pond hosting a vigil for Brian Vladeck Hassel.
Devastating. Emotional, yeah.
Student journalist Isabella Sywick covering the solemn gathering, marking 4 years since Vladeck disappeared in this exact area.
He was close to a university. I go to that university as well. So knowing that we could have crossed paths one day and not being able to is just really off-putting.
I'm a reporter. We're doing a story about Brian Vladeck. Are you the maintenance man who saw him?
News Nation investigating just months after Vladeck's disappearance in November of 2021.
Hey, how are you?
All right.
I'm Brian.
Steve.
Hi, nice to meet you.
Traveling to the apartment Vladeck shared with his father near the UCF campus, visiting the coffee shop the former Marine always visited.
How's it going, guys?
And where police were called on November 6, 2021. His family reports that 2 days earlier, a customer accused him of having a pocket knife on the table.
You might step outside real quick.
Vladeck was told not to come back.
Basically, as I want you around. So literally, if you come onto their property, you can be arrested.
Calm throughout the entire interaction, this is the last verified sighting of Vladeck. He walked off, never to be seen again.
My first thought was he had a mental breakdown because of what happened with the coffee shop and his level of depression to start with. And that maybe he went off into the woods like he one time thought of doing and just stayed there.
Happy birthday, dear Vladeck.
Honorably discharged from the Marines, his family reports he struggles with depression that ties back to his adoption at age 5 from a Russian orphanage.
I still can't believe so much time has passed and there's been no leads or sightings yet.
His sister Bethany had to get married without her brother. In fact, victims advocates from Light the Way Missing Persons Project, the Gabby Petito Foundation, and several others attended to support the bride.
We have Gabby's platform, and when I see families suffering from ambiguous loss like this, it breaks my heart because we have resolution, we know what happened, and so many families don't. So I just saw the passion in her heart, and she was just so sad and desperate, and I wanted to be there for her. And we just became very good friends.
From the yearly vigil to donating to Vladeck's favorite philanthropy, the family's efforts never ending.
It took a long time to get there, but I'm just trying to find balance between still living my life, but I'm never going to stop fighting for him. Never.
Strangers becoming part of the family's army. Even the young journalist who feels deeply her role in trying to bring a young man home.
this is very just touching. I mean, you really get to feel the emotions that they're going through and the pain that they're going through. And
all right, so hold on a second here. Let's me and Shibby go for a ride here. Hold on a second here. This is what I'm talking about, though. This is so, these cases are so weird. I mean, this is freaking Orlando here. This is it doesn't get much busier than this here. This is there's the university there. Let's back out a little bit here. Trying to get okay, so here's Orlando here. So he's over on the eastern side of this here. There's Kissimmee right there. I mean, this is, they gotta have some sort of video on this here. This is all right, so let's go for a ride here. This is the boulevard. This is where, so according to the Charlie Project here, Hassel's family last saw him at their residence. So they last saw him at their residence in the vicinity Elafaya Trail and McKay Boulevard. And that's exactly where this is. This is hold on a second here. Am I sharing this? Yep, okay. So this is hold on a second here. I mean, look at this place. This is typical Orlando. It's like businesses and stuff everywhere. You can't, for one thing, you can't go into Florida around here without paying a toll. So there's going to be tolls. There's tons of condominium developments here. There's probably cameras here. This is just, that's what I'm saying. Sometimes they have lights in these, cameras in these lights too. And we're on the wrong side of the road again. So hold on, let me get back over here. And a lot of these, tourist attractions here. See, there's cameras in these lights. I think I know what this is. All right, I'm going to go, eventually I'm going to get to the university here. So let's get back here. What the hell am I doing? Right there. Fishy, I unblocked you. All right, let's do this here. Former missing teens. Okay. Very good.
And you just want to help.
The Orange County Sheriff's Office did provide a new statement for our report. They say that they have used patrol deputies, their emergency response team, and aviation unit, drone operators.
You can tell I come from England. I'm on the wrong side of the road. Fishy, I blocked you. That's too funny. Fishy's awesome. Where's Big Fish Dishes? Okay. Gabby's family. Yep.
And also bloodhounds in the continued search for Vladik. And they want nothing more than to find him and bring him home to his family and bring them the answers they deserve. Joining us now is Vladik's sister, Bethany Hassel. Also with us from the Gabby Petito Foundation, Nicole Schmidt and her husband, Jim Schmidt. Nicole is Gabby's mom. Thank you all so much for being here. Bethany, I want to start with you. And because Nicole and Jim are with us, how did you all make this connection in light of your brother's disappearance?
Yeah, Nikki, Jim, their family have just been incredible support system to my family. We crossed paths during a conference and just our friendship has grown from there. And just being able to support one another. We've both been facing trauma for about the same length of time. I was telling Nikki that I remember talking to Vladik about Gabby's case because her case happened 2 months before he went missing. And Nikki was, talking with me about Vladik's case, one of the first ones they started following because it happened so close to Gabby's case. And just building that community and support system since then has been detrimental to being surrounded by so many advocates and their hearts for these families that are going through such heartbreak as they're facing their own loss and navigating that pain still. They're one of the strongest families I've ever had the pleasure of meeting. And I wish we didn't meet this way. I wish there was other circumstances that we crossed paths, but I'm so grateful for their support and their continued support.
Yeah, it's the unknown. And Nikki, you addressed this in the piece, the ambiguity around missing cases, that families try to hold on to hope. How have you been able to meet Bethany and her family where they are, and connect and offer the type of support that only you all can?
Just being available to Bethany and her family, being the support system during times when they're just going through a lot. They're feeling the emotion.
All right, hold on a second here. Your son's birthday? Happy birthday. Do this here. Hold on one second here. Okay, so this is kind of like the write-up on his disappearance here. On November 5th, his father went out of town for a scheduled 10-day trip to see relatives. Hassel was invited, but he chose to stay home. His father gave him a credit card and $100 in cash. Nice. And offered to buy groceries before he left, but Hassel said he thought there was enough food and he didn't need any more. Hassel spoke on the phone with his sister in the early morning hours of November 6th. And this is the last time his family heard from him. So November 6th, that's pretty much fall there, but it's, she said the conversation lasted only 6 minutes and he seemed normal at the time. Later that day, visited Foxtail Coffee Company on University Boulevard. He had been there, so we read this already, where he left a knife, with a knife, and then he was seen walking west. So that's what I'm talking about. He calmly left after the trespass warning was issued and was seen walking west towards Wawa convenience store. And they have cameras there too. There's cameras everywhere. He may have been sighted at his apartment complex. Maintenance worker claims to have spoken to him for a few minutes near the basketball court on November 15th. He may have gone to someone else's apartment in the complex and said he was going off grid. Do you have a girlfriend, do you think? Hassel had no access to a vehicle at the time of his disappearance. He only had his father's, and it was in the shop being repaired. He did not have a smartphone or tablet, he having previously broken or discarded those items, and only had a flip phone, which he left behind. His case remains unsolved. So it appeared as if Hassel had not been living. Hold on a second. When Hassel's father returned home on November 15th, his son was gone. It appeared as if Hassel had not been living there during the time his father was away. How can you tell that? Food and drinks in the house had not been consumed, and a package that had arrived in the mail on November 8th was still sitting outside. At the time of his disappearance, Hassel frequented businesses in the University of Central Florida Boulevard area. He had developed an interest in religion and was known to spend hours praying and reading the Bible at St. Joseph Catholic Church. He liked to interact with and assist people in the homeless community, and said he would go. There we go, homeless community right there. And he said he would like to go to live in the woods. But he would not do so until his father died because he didn't want to leave his father alone. Okay, very good. He would like to go live in the woods. I wonder if he had So that's him there. This is the progression here. This is coming from the Charlie Project. Age progression there. Missing since 11/5/2021, Orlando, Florida. Endangered missing male, white, 12. He was 27 whenever this was done here. 5'8", 220 pounds. He suffers depression. He was born in Russia and was adopted with his sister. So him and his sister are actually siblings. They just had foster parents. And he was adopted in 2004, age 5. So do you think maybe he went back to Russia? Do you think that's possible to find his parents? All right, let's go back to this here. Hold on a second. I mean, it's possible he went back to Russia.
Knowing that they can still have hope. They don't have to give up. And we're here to guide them through that. We have Light the Way, that they've been an amazing resource. We've partnered with them, and we know what it feels like, but we had our resolution. And it's so heartbreaking to see a family in such pain. And if we can just be there for them in any small way, whether it's just being there to support them at vigils or, talking to them on the phone when they.
We love Heather here. Heather Brown is such an amazing human being. It's always good to see her here. It's good to see you in Rick's chat tonight too. No, but hubby is home and it's our Valentine's Day or whatever. Oh, good for you. Nicole can't wait to get a piece of what? Cake. Okay. Sorry, I'm a little behind on the chat. Here. All right.
They need help. No matter what it is, we just want to do what we can.
Yeah, it's incredibly powerful. Bethany, before I ask you about the investigation and some of the things that happened, tell us about Vlad.
I think it's highly possible he went back to Russia to try to find his parents. But I don't know. I mean, that would be my early.
Describe him for us and what you miss most about him.
I'm gonna try my best not to cry. This week is, super emotional with Vlad's birthday coming up. But he is the most caring person you'll ever meet. He'll give you the shirt off his back if you need it. He's always starting up conversations with strangers. Anybody that is within a couple feet of him, he'll find something about you to just start a conversation to learn about your story. And if he hears that you're going through a hard time, he'll find a way to help in any small way that he can. That's why he's so well remembered in the area that he went missing from, because of those characteristics. He used to give out large tips to waiters and waitresses, $300, $500 tips, because, they would share a hard time not being able to rent up and they were short, or their car was in the shop or something. And all those places that he would frequent, when I would go there after he went missing, they remembered him right away because of his generosity. And that was giving him a purpose. He was helping the homeless, bringing meals to individuals. And, we've heard stories of he would just drive up with a bag of Chick-fil-A sandwiches and start passing them out. I miss his laugh. The most. Because if anybody could cheer me up right now, he would. He always finds a way, no matter what's going on, and he sees someone struggling or hurting, he'll come up with the most random jokes to lighten the mood.
That's a good question. Schizophrenia usually shows up early in adulthood. Yep. It's possible he has PTSD too. I don't know. He's a little young to be in Gulf War or something like that. But definitely possible for sure. So hold on one second. Let's go back over here really quick because I want to hold on a second here. So okay, so this is the this is where we were right here. We're at the McKay Boulevard here. So let's see if I can get down in here. Where am I going? I want to go to the university here. Whoops. Let's do this here. Hold on a second. Trying to. I've been on this road before for sure. This is kind of away from. There's got to be cameras in here. Okay, so now we're going to take a right here because this is the university road here. So this is so this is the university here. The University of Central Florida here. So I just wanted to see. Hold on, let me get out of here. I'm going to do this again. I don't see any cameras in this light here. There's got to be, though. I would think this is a university here, so I would think that there'd be a camera around here somewhere. All right, let's get back here to
I need that now. I need him. I can't believe it's been 4 years without him.
Yeah, generous and a big heart. Thank you.
This is just awful. I hate hearing this stuff. This poor woman. She's 2000 was it 2021? So it's been 5 years. So this is just terrible.
For sharing the best parts of Vladik with us, Bethany, which makes it all the more peculiar when you talk about how caring and kind he was and giving out the big tips, that one of the last pieces of video that we have or know about Vladik's disappearance was at a place he frequented often. It was that coffee shop that we mentioned a moment ago, a place that he liked to go. Then there was this encounter with the pocket knife.
Do they say exactly where this is? On University Boulevard, I could find that.
Had he shared any concerns with you all about his safety, why he needed that knife, and what you've been able to glean from what happened that day?
So Vladik is a very private person. He doesn't want people to worry or be concerned about what's going on in his life. So he doesn't usually express if there's something bothering him. He will usually deflect and focus on you. A couple days before my dad went out of town for the trip for my birthday, Vladik was supposed to go with, but he had decided to stay home, and he bought a pocket knife that day. And my dad asked him, like, why'd you buy this $60 pocket knife? And Vladik said it was for protection. Dad didn't press on any further. For protection is a pretty common answer when someone says a reasoning for buying a pocket knife. Many people keep a pocket knife on them just in case you need it, kind of thing. So he didn't think anything further of that. But yeah, it's just a big mystery.
Yeah, it's not unusual for someone to carry that. I think what was unusual, and probably given what we know and what you've shared about Vladik, is it was probably very difficult for him to hear from law enforcement that setting the knife on the table had made people uncomfortable, and they said they would like you to leave. Jim, excuse me, I want to ask you about that. With your background and what you guys have done through the Gabby Petito Foundation in working with families and analyzing law enforcement interaction with people, does anything stand out to you in that moment as Vladik talks to police and is told to leave the restaurant?
Yeah,
Dewey Ox is here. Good to see Dewey Ox. Let's see I want to go here really quick because I did find that. Right here. So this is the coffee shop right here. This is why did I do that? Right here. Can I go there? No. That's the coffee shop right there. Foxtail Coffee Co. This is on University Boulevard, Orlando, Florida. This says A Life of Florida, Alafaya, Florida. I bet you the coffee here is really bad. That's just my opinion, probably. That's the only thing about Florida that sucks. The coffee is really awful. But this is what I'm talking about. This is like a main drag here. You can't go 5 feet without being on camera here. You got cameras and lights. You got cameras at toll booths. You got cameras at all of these, and these are like, if you guys have ever been down here, there's roads connecting to roads, right? So there's, let's see here. So this is the coffee shop here, right there. I'm going to try to get into this parking. There we go. Look at that. Holy shit. So that's the place. Perfect. All right, let's go back to this here. Hold on a second here. I find it hard to believe that they, of course, the old saying is people can go missing when they want to. Adults can go missing, and sometimes they don't want to be found, right?
I think he just seemed a little bit confused on, what was happening there. Law enforcement got called there. They were just doing their job. I think Vladik didn't think he was doing anything wrong. It's a place that he felt comfortable, some place that he's gone to often, a place that he felt safe, and was really kind of confused by it. It's kind of heartbreaking to know that that's like the last video that you see of him, but he just kind of didn't seem to me like his normal self a little bit there. So, just somebody who came in and saw something that didn't.
According to the Charlie Project, it just says he had been there on November 4th and made customers uncomfortable by displaying a knife. So somebody must have been uncomfortable enough to call. As a result, when he came again on November 6th, the employees called the police and permanently banned him from the business. So he did that twice that we know of. He had been there November 4th, and when he came to the restaurant again, so obviously this was a frequented place for him, right? And they personally banned him from the business. So because they gave him a trespass warning. So if he went there again, he was probably going to get arrested. Somehow that does, I don't know what kind of a knife it was. Obviously, it was something that the customers, and I'm pretty sure they were probably tourists, maybe. I don't know. Hold on a second. All right.
Maybe really know Vladik and who he really is, another customer. I think maybe kind of set off that interaction and what happened there. But yeah, that's definitely not the last video footage you want to see. But
if you go to Florida and you order coffee, make sure that you watch them make it, because it's getting better. It's getting a little bit better. Last time, the good news about Florida now is they have more Dunkin' Donuts down there than they did years and years and years ago. But you literally have to, like, if you like cream or sugar or whatever, you have to literally tell them to put the whole fucking cow in there because they will not do it. It's just awful.
Yeah. How hard is it for you, Bethany? Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Nikki.
Sorry, we feel like we almost know Vladik because we know the family so well. We've gotten to know him through his beautiful siblings and parents, and so when we say it doesn't look normal, like he's definitely something is off in that video. He looks confused, and we just don't understand that that's the last footage of him. It just blows our minds.
Yeah, and Bethany, when you see the footage, what stands out to you, and based on the area, in what proximity was that to his home? Has there been any other sightings or anything that leads you in one direction or the other as to where he went from there?
So with that footage, the officer doesn't tell them the reason for the trespass warning. He just says it's a private.
Boy, this place is deceiving. Look at this, right? Like this is like the Doctor Who thing with the TARDIS. This place
Is
looks
there anything
really
that leads you in one direction?
like this place looks really small from the outside, but hold on a second here. This is pretty roomy in here.
Direction or the other as to where he went from there.
So with that footage,
Look at this place. This is pretty big in here.
the officer doesn't tell them the reason for the trespass warning. He just says it's a private.
Who fucking holds a camera like that? Who does this?
Business. They can trespass you for the type of shirt that you're wearing. So Vladik was never aware that it was because of that he had a pocket knife and he set it on a table. As far as he knew.
Okay, so this is a body cam showing the last interaction with Vladik. So let's watch this again. See if we can. So we know he didn't drive.
Is it for you, Bethany? Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Nikki.
Sorry, we feel like we almost know Vladik because we know the family so well. We've gotten to know him through his beautiful siblings and parents, and so when we say it doesn't look normal, like he's definitely something is off in that video. He looks confused, and we just don't understand that that's the last footage of him. It just blows our minds.
I agree. I mean, just without even seeing it the second time, it seems like something is not right.
Yeah, and Bethany, when you see the footage, what stands out to you, and based on the area, in what proximity was that to his home? Has there been any other sightings or anything that leads you in one direction or the other as to where he went from there?
So with that footage, the officer.
Okay, so that's him there. This must be the door, the front door. So he comes in.
Officer doesn't tell them the reason.
So he comes in this door here, that door there. I'm assuming it's that door there. Hold on a second. Dino drinks monkey poo coffee. Yeah, why aren't your comments not showing up? All right, sorry to keep doing this to you guys. Hold on a second here. Dom is here. Good to see Dom. Good to see you, buddy. Hold on a second here. Right there. Okay, so I'm assuming he walks in this door here, and that's the little, I can see kind of like that table there, whatever they want to call it. So he walks in this door, and then he leaves out this door, right? Is that what that shows you? Hold on, let's go back to. I wish I could split this, but I can't. Good to see Dom in here. I hope you're well, buddy. Okay, so that's that door there. And hold on, let me back this up if I can. Just a CH here. Hold on a second. So that's the side door. He comes in this side. I don't know.
This morning, he just says it's a private business. They can trespass you for the type of shirt that you're wearing. So Vladik was never aware that
Cop is right there. Is that the cop car right there? So the cops are already there.
it was because of that he had a pocket knife and he set it on a table.
But that's a cop car right there. That's a Orlando, Florida cop car right there. So sorry, I'm just gonna back this up a little bit here. Okay, so this is him coming in this door here. I'm assuming that's that side door. And then he just basically walks it, and the cops are already there. So
The officer doesn't tell them the reason for the trespass warning. He just says it's a private business.
it doesn't look like he's causing a lot of trouble. He just comes in, maybe he wasn't thinking that they were going to be serious about him not being there, but he comes in and then he just leaves, and the cops are already there. So I don't know how long he was there from walking in that entrance there.
They can trespass you for the type of shirt that you're wearing. So Vladek was never aware that it was because that he had a pocket knife and he set it on a table. As far as he knew, they just didn't want him around anymore. And like not knowing the reasoning, I feel like was even more crushing because it was.
I hope they didn't arrest him, did they? He was calmly left and was seen walking west towards. So they didn't arrest him. He was seen walking west towards Warwick Convenience Store. Doesn't look like he's causing too much of an issue. I mean, getting ready to scream F Canada in a couple of hours. Yeah, I wish I'm gonna be hope if I could stay up for that game, but it's no way possible.
Was a place that
so he's showing obviously ID.
it was pretty much.
I mean, he doesn't look like he's like. I mean, I think he just went there because he likes to go there, and I don't think he was under the impression that these guys were serious about the trespassing thing, and he just left calmly, peacefully.
A refuge that he would go there all the time, spend hours on end, and he was well known, a regular there, and just.
I mean, it doesn't seem like he's giving the officer a hard time here. Of course, we can't hear what he's saying.
Having that, being told never to come back and not knowing why. And then it was really close to where he lived. He would walk to that area quite often. He shared a car with my dad, but oftentimes he would just choose to walk. And when we were on the trip, the car that they shared was in the shop. So he walked there that morning. And everything, on the body cam footage, he pulls out.
This is awful. Somebody said something about homeless camp. Yeah, I would try that too. I mean, that's one hell of a way to treat a Marine, right? I mean, I'd like to see the pocket knife or whatever, because that can be a little scary if you got somebody in there, waving a knife. But if it's just kind of like a bottle opener,
What's in his pockets, his Bank of America card, his credit card that dad lent him. His articles of clothing are all still missing. The only thing that we found is the dog tag that I gave him on graduation day that has the Marine emblem, and on the back it has a Bible verse on it. And that's the only thing that has been discovered. But in his apartment, his phone was there. He had told the officer that he left his phone in the apartment. The pocket knife was still there. He didn't have a pocket knife on him. So it really seems like everything stopped that day. So the last charge on the card is that cup of coffee as well.
Dieter said, I'm to bring you to Canada. You're not going to see much. You're going to see a lot of hockey and a lot of maple syrup. That's about it. And depending on the time of the year, you're probably going to see a lot of smoke from their forest fires up there.
There were a couple other potential sightings throughout the week we were gone. One by a maintenance man saying that, he saw Vladek last Friday. They spoke. I wonder about the date of that, if what he really meant to say was Friday the 5th, just because everything seemed to stop on the 6th. And when someone says last Friday, that could be last week, or that could be 2 weeks ago. And there was another potential sighting from a friend in the apartment complex saying that Vladek came to his door early in the morning on the 15th, asking to stay there. And the friend said, my girlfriend's here, their kids are here, they're going to get up soon, it's not going to work. And Vladek immediately asked if he had a gun that he could borrow. What? And his friend said, I have a record. I can't be around that. Why do you need a weapon? And Vladek said it was for protection. When the friend pressed him, like,
Hold on a second here.
bro. And his friend said, you know, I have a record. I can't be around that. Why do you need? And there was another potential sighting from a friend in the apartment complex saying that Vladek came to his door early in the morning on the 5th.
How early?
15th, asked him to stay there. And the friend said, you know, my girlfriend's here, their kids are here, they're gonna get up soon, it's not gonna work. And Vladek immediately asked if he had a gun that he could borrow. And his friend said, you know, I have a record, I can't be around that, why do you need a weapon? And Vladek said it was for protection.
That's a little weird. Protection from what? That was on the 6th. And that's kind of strange. Was that the last sighting?
When the friend pressed him, like, protection against what? Vladek said it was for against an animal. But again, he has that personality.
What animal?
Where he tries to deflect and downgrade worry concerns where people aren't worried about him. So who's to say it was someone that he was worried about or something else? He told that person that he was going to go off the grid, and but what that friend describes him wearing is pretty much what he was wearing during the body cam footage. So to me, the timeline seems more to everything stopping on November 6th.
That's I think there's a strange interaction with the friend there. That's bizarre. Let's see. Yes, it's very good to see Miranda last year witness at least. Yeah, that's kind of strange. That whole conversation. Hold on a second. I hope you guys don't mind if I play that again, because that's fucking. Why would somebody do that?
What he really meant to say was Friday the 5th, just because everything seemed to stop on the 6th. And when someone says last Friday, you know, that could be last week, or that could be 2 weeks ago. And there was another potential sighting from a friend in the apartment complex saying that Vladek came to his door early in the morning on the 15th, asked him to stay there. And the friend said, you know, my girlfriend's here, their kids are here, they're gonna get up soon, it's not gonna work. And Vladek immediately asked if he had a gun that he could borrow. And his friend said, you know, I have a record, I can't be around that, why do you need a weapon?
So November 5th, 2021 was a Friday. So the 6th obviously would have been a Saturday without, you know, getting into too much math. But okay, so and then he was seen on the 6th as a result when he came in again on the 6th. On the 6th is when he was permanently banned from the restaurant, and that's when we see him walking out the coffee shop. So the 6th would have been that Saturday, and then she's saying that this stuff happened on the 6th. Is that what she said?
That Vladek came to his door early in the morning on the 15th, asked him to stay there.
On the 15th. Okay, so this is about a week later.
And the friend said, you know, my girlfriend's here, their kids are here, they're gonna get up soon, it's not gonna work. And Vladek immediately asked if he had a gun that he could borrow. And his friend said, you know, I have a record, I can't be around that, why do you need a weapon? And Vladek said it was for protection. When the friend pressed him, like, protection against what? Vladek said it was for against an animal. But again, he has that personality where he tries to deflect and downgrade worry concerns where people aren't worried about him. So who's to say it was someone that he was worried about or something else? He told that person that he was going to go off the grid, and but what that friend describes him wearing is pretty much what he was wearing during the body cam footage. So to me, the timeline seems more to everything stopping on November 6th.
Okay. Working with law enforcement, Nikki and Jim, you guys have worked with law enforcement.
That's so weird. That whole conversation is bizarre.
A lot over the years, certainly when everything developed around Gabby's case. What more do you tell Bethany and others that you encounter in these missing cases? And I will point out, law enforcement seems like they're doing quite a bit in Vladik's search, but in working with police to try to keep attention on the case, to try to keep the pressure on to continue to search so that precious time isn't lost.
Yeah, I think it's important, and Bethany's done a really good job. I know.
If you're going to go to Canada, I suggest you go in like the hottest day here in the United States, like sometime in August, early August, if you want warmth anyways.
I know they had put some new detectives on it recently and stuff, but just maintaining that line of communication with them, having those meetings, being open with any information that you may have. And also for us, like working with families, making the families understand too that sometimes law enforcement may have information, but they can't necessarily share it with you, but they are actively looking. And even things like this, just getting it out on the news. We heard it in some of the earlier cases that you had mentioned where a news story pops up again, and suddenly it just seems to kind of invigorate the case a little bit. But just always getting it out there to continue to bring those tips in, because who knows, even after this airs tonight, somebody might see something that on here that recognizes Vladik from that time period and might have a little piece of information and get that into law enforcement. And that just helps keeping that case going and keeping it active and giving the families hope is really important. And just maintaining that line of communication to know that the family, we're still here, we're still searching.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. It does. It can jog a memory, and even one piece of information or one encounter could trigger the final piece of the puzzle to bring the answers that we need. Nicole, you all are Gabby's legacy now, and what a legacy you have created through the Gabby Petito Foundation. Tell folks more about the work that you all are doing to help folks like Bethany and others in the midst of their nightmare.
Well, again, we are there as a support system, and we have worked directly with families through Light the Way now, getting them community support, helping link their relationship.
I haven't been to Montreal in so long, probably, I don't know, last time I drank, so that was probably 22 years ago. Montreal is it's right up there as far as I'm concerned with New York. It's like probably third or fourth favorite city. One thing about Montreal is you can go there and you can literally just eat off the floor there. The place is immaculate. I mean, it's for a city the size of Montreal, it's very, very clean. But the food in Montreal is just amazing.
Up with law enforcement, bringing that communication. Sometimes we have to step in and be that liaison between law enforcement and the families, because it is frustrating. Sometimes you feel like you're not getting any information, but we're just working really hard to get stories out that aren't particularly out there as much as they should be. And we believe everybody deserves to have their story put out. So I appreciate the work you do.
That would be fun to meet in Montreal. That would be awesome. Especially at a Canadian game. That would be great.
Here on News Nation, putting these stories out, and we will keep fighting behind the scenes here for these families and being here as a support. And families like Bethany, look at how hard she's working. She's working around the clock looking for her brother. This has become her life, and we just want to try and take a little bit of that burden off, because there's things that families can't always do.
I just feel bad for the sister right here. This is just so awful. Ugh. You get trekked all the way from Russia to the United States and get adopted by these people, and the only family that you really know, you're welcome, Mustang. Now gone. It stinks.
And we just hope that we're helping in some way.
It's a blessing that you all have found each other and connected. Bethany, I want to give you the final word. I know that this time of year is difficult, one, because it's Vladik's birthday, but it's also the holiday.
I mean, I'm pretty sure that they've questioned that friend there, because that conversation to me is really strange. Why would somebody walk up to your house one morning and ask for a gun? That's so weird.
Days, and it's when we want to be with our people. If Vladik is out there and he is struggling and somehow this ends up in front of him, what would you say to him?
Well, I love you.
Oh, that's so awful. That's so sad. That's terrible. Oh my God.
You're not in trouble. No one's mad. We're just worried. We just need to know if you're okay. If you're doing okay wherever you're at, that's all we need to know. I'm not going to pull you back. I just need to know you're safe. You have an army of people surrounding you, strangers that are looking for you, rallying around you, and advocating for you, just as you have
Gibby's going to call border control in the morning. There ain't going to be anybody there. Sunday, remember?
advocated for so many strangers. Just know that you are dearly loved. And so
People play hockey in Canada on Sunday, man. So, all right.
deeply missed. And I need you.
Oh my God, it's so sad. This poor kid. Oh my God, this is awful.
Bethany Hassel, Nicole, and Jim Schmidt, thank you so much. It is a pleasure talking with you.
She did great. I mean, she's obviously beside herself. It's been 5 years. She did great. It's not easy to come on camera like this here and spill your guts on. She did great. You can tell she's not normal. She's not herself. I got to keep following this. I know I missed this one a month ago. I was going to do this one a month ago, but
you and to highlight Vladik's disappearance. I hope this brings answers. Today could be the day.
Thank you, Marvin.
Take another look at Vladik Hassel.
Okay, so Brian Vladik Hassel, he goes by Vladik. Orange County Sheriff's Office, obviously, in I think that's Orlando, Florida, 407-254-7000. I'll probably put this on the end of my ticker here at some point. Eventually, I'm going to try to break this up so it's a little bit more legible here. Here we go. Ready? That's too funny. All right, so there's that there, but I may do a follow-up on this. I'm not sure. But like I said, I do want to get into a little bit more of the what the hell am I doing? Veterans missing military. All right, so that's that. And we'll go into something else. Now let's get into I'll keep an eye on that. I don't think he's been found yet for sure. I probably would have heard something. All right, so let's go to this that we can't stop hearing about here. Hold on a second here. And I'll play some videos alongside it. Is it possible that he may be DEAD? It is for sure. I would have definitely questioned the friend there, because that, to me, that seems kind of odd. Why would somebody show up in the morning like that asking for a GUN to stay there and then ask for a GUN? It's bizarre. There's room for a couple more sardines, especially in Niagara Falls. Absolutely. All right, so we're going to kind of get back into this whole Nancy Guthrie thing here for a little bit. I have some questions. it seems like it's very, very, I don't want to say strange. It's just, it's bizarre. Let's put it that way. All right. So we did this 2 weeks in a row now. This is the timeline, right? This is the timeline of events here. We got a few timelines here, all the way up to basically when she's reported missing by churchgoers here. And this is what we have so far. So at 5:32 p.m., so it's probably light still. Is that correct? Maybe not. Maybe it's more dark than light. 5:32 p.m. This is in. Is this Eastern time or is this Mountain time? Okay, so 5:32 p.m. Nancy Guthrie takes an Uber to her daughter's home for dinner. Okay. This is a problem that I have with this here. I look forward to Owl on a Pro. Oh, you're so awesome, Miranda. Thank you so much. It's been a while since he went missing. That's why I'm asking. Yeah, for sure. I don't know if I had to put like a percentage on that. Paula, I'd probably say, I don't know, about 30%. Maybe he just took off. 21 years old. Maybe he just said, screw this and took off, and maybe he went to Russia to try to. Hey, Charlotte's here. It's possible he went back to Russia to try to find his parents, his actual parents. Who knows? Charlotte's here. Charlotte's in the house. There's Charlotte right there. Dom, oh no, terrible news. What's going on with Dom? Hold on a second here. ALS. Oh, that's terrible. Oh, that's awful. Sorry to hear that. Also sorry to hear about Boston Christian too. But Charlotte's in the house. Charlotte's amazing. It's always good to see Charlotte here. Oh, that's terrible. All right. That's sad. All right. Okay, so this is the issue I have with this here. Well, I don't have an issue with it. I'm just trying to figure this out. So at 5:32 p.m., Nancy Guthrie takes an Uber to her daughter Annie's home. Now, I'm pretty sure that I'm correct by this. Annie's home is about 10 minutes away from Nancy's home, correct? Because they've been kind of investigating that whole trek from Nancy's home all the way to Annie's home, right? Looking for who knows. Now, the other thing too is I was under the impression that Nancy has an issue walking, right? She can't what's the report? Like she can't walk for more than 10 minutes or so or whatever. So did they make her take an Uber or did she just decide to take an Uber? I mean, would you do that? If it's your mom, would you have her take an Uber to your house? I know she probably doesn't drive, right? I mean, that would be my guess. She's probably not driving around at 84. I know some people do drive around at 84. So this is the question I have is, why did she take an Uber to her daughter's house, which is 10 minutes down the street? And why would somebody do that? Why would somebody, because they dropped her off. Guthrie was dropped off by her son-in-law, Annie's husband. Maybe dinner was, say, at 6, and the son-in-law was at work and he couldn't pick her up. This, to me, I don't know, that this is weird here, why somebody would take an Uber that's 84 to her own daughter's house. It's not like they went out for dinner. They went to Annie's home for dinner. So she went to her house. And I'm assuming that Nancy is pretty much, you know, restricted to what she can do. Like, I'm pretty sure if she doesn't drive, either someone has to bring her shit or, you know, that's a whole nother story though. Like, she's probably very incapacitated where somebody has like medicine. She's probably got some sort of a hospice going back and forth, or what do they call those people, visiting nurses to the people's homes. She didn't drive after dark. Okay, thank you. Charlotte's amazing. Charlotte is it's always good to see Charlotte. I try to stay on as long as I possibly can at night just so that Charlotte can come on. I know she's a few hours ahead of us over there in England. So anyways, does anybody think that's a little weird that Nancy Guthrie would take an Uber to her daughter's house? That's like 10 minutes up the street. For one, she probably has to be put in the car, right? And I wanted to look into this too. Does Uber allow, hold on a second. Does Uber allow for friends? Friends of drivers to ride along? I don't know if that is that. Uber strictly prohibits drivers from having friends, family, or other passengers in the vehicle while they are actively drive. So that's a policy. It's a policy violation. Having unauthorized people in the car is against policy and can lead to deactivation of the driver. So it's pretty much no, Uber and Lyft do not let you have co-pilot. So that's very strange. So immediate investigation for me would have been who brings stuff to her. I'm sure that everything kind of either has to be brought to her or maybe family brings stuff to her sometimes. She probably has Uber Eats or whatever. What is it? DoorDash bring grocery. I'm pretty sure she's not going out grocery shopping, right? I'm pretty sure she has probably either like a visiting nurse or something go to the house. I mean, she has the pacemaker and stuff like that. So she has somebody bringing medication to her probably or checking up on her. It's hard for me to believe that she has the ability to go to too many doctor's appointments. And if she does, all I'm saying is this is a little strange that Nancy Guthrie takes an Uber to her daughter Annie's home for dinner, but maybe it's because the transportation, because they did drop her off. So at 9:48 p.m., Guthrie is dropped off. So at 9:48, she arrives home, somewhere around there, 9:48, which is pretty much 10 o'clock, right? She's dropped off by Tommaso Ciani, which is Annie's husband. 9:50, the garage door is closed. I wonder how we know that. I wonder if there's a sensor that they can kind of tell that happened. I know when I used to drop off my wife's grandmother, we used to have to, the handshake through the window or the light switch, to make sure that she got in all right. So I wonder if that's some sort of a. All I'm saying is, I wonder if I posted this on my community page. I wonder if there was somebody in the house already. I mean, how would anybody know? Did he walk her in? All of these questions I have, because this is, this stuff here, it's vague. Nancy takes an Uber to her daughter Annie's home for dinner. That's just, his mom died. Whose mom died? Oh yeah, that's terrible. That's sad. Sometimes my brother asks me to Uber to his house. Yeah, I mean, I would do that too. I've taken Uber and Lyft before, and I have no problem with that. But an 84-year-old woman, I don't know. Will someone say what's going on with Boston Christian? Yeah, sorry. Let's see here. Had my 6'5" butt in the front seat. All right, so let's go to this here. I do want to play a couple of things. Hold on one second here. I just found that kind of strange. There's a whole bunch of strange things about this case here. So let's go. I want to go to this one first here. Hold on one second here. Well, let's play this one here because this is the latest one here. Whoops. All right, we're going to go here. What am I doing? Definitely sorry to hear about Boston Christian's mom here. All right, so let's start this from the beginning. This was done. This was done 15 hours ago. So no suspects have yet to been identified, obviously, in the Nancy Guthrie case. They're calling it the Nancy Guthrie abduction case. So they're still calling it an abduction. At least they are anyways. All right, so let's go here.
Teenager who authorities say shot up his school, killing 4 and wounding 7 others. Now Colin has been accused of purchasing the murder weapon. Prosecutors say he did it even after being told about his son's prior threats. It is a courtroom filled with both.
See, the problem I'm having is and I think it's just probably my problem is, there's a lot of issues from the beginning of this case, right from the very beginning of this case, right? I just see a lot of red flags, a lot of, that's not even talking about getting off the porch, right? Like there's blood droplets on the porch, and then do they just stop? I mean, how does that happen? How do you have blood droplets on the porch and then do they just stop? Do they have more leading up to a car? Is that how they know there's a car involved? It's just so weird how we haven't heard anything about that. We're probably not going to. All right, so let's play this here. I got to let my dog out. So here's this.
Sorrow and anger. And tonight we have the latest from this high-stakes, controversial trial. But first, another day and still 84-year-old Nancy Guthrie remains missing. It's the biggest true crime mystery in the nation, and there is seemingly a lot of evidence, including video of her abductor, the man behind the mask. Was he working alone, or does he have an accomplice? Why did he take Nancy Guthrie from her home? Pressure is mounting each day now on law enforcement to solve this case, find a suspect, and bring home Nancy. Tonight, we take a look at all the new developments, including reports of polygraph tests being given to clear people as the search for Nancy continues. I'm Vinnie Politan. Thank you for joining us tonight here on Closing Arguments, and we continue our coverage of the story everyone.
So Mino Dino's going to soar back too? That's terrible. Who let the dog out? They always decide they want to go out when I start my lives, so it's weird. Yeah, that is sad to hear about Boston's mom. That sucks.
One is looking for an answer to. Of course, we're talking about Nancy Guthrie, and none of this makes any sense. Like, does any of this make sense? Does this guy make sense?
Obviously, this guy was prepared. I mean, now a lot of people are saying this guy looks amateurish and all of that stuff, and I still think he's been there before. He obviously knew there was a camera there. That's why he wore this shit. But whoever this is came prepared. And I'm still trying to figure out whether or not these are motion lights. I don't think so.
Sense? Does his outfit make sense? His Walmart outfit? Grabbing a potted plant? Gun dangling? It's borderline absurd, but he hasn't been caught. Doesn't seem like this is something he's done before. Spent 41 minutes inside. She's 8.
It isn't a live stream until Charlotte's here. Yeah, Dom's here. Dom is right there. Dino was here earlier. Dino's phone usually bugs out. So I get it though. It's early. It's 3:30 in the morning, for God's sakes. I mean, I'm on late, so I'm just happy there's people here at all. I mean, you guys are so awesome. Heather is here. Charlotte's here. Mustang's here. We got a lot of people here. We got Miranda Lee's in the house. I haven't seen Karen Lee around in a while either. I hope she's okay. Unindicted co-conspirators in here. Everybody that comes in here on my lives, Tracy, is amazing because it's late. It's 3:30 Eastern time here. It's 8:30 there. Did he expect a Kmart outfit? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. And I don't see any lights here. I'm just saying this could have been after. Maybe they're doing this because they're bringing her out the front here, and he's just making sure that the camera's taken care of.
84 years old.
I have some statistics too that I'm going to try to. Let's do that now. Hold on a second here. Oh, actually, hold on. I want to go back to that because I got to let my dog in. Hold on a second here. Yeah, we hope Nicole feels better too. Nicole's awesome. You're laying down with my back now? Okay. Ibuprofen? Here.
This doesn't happen. 84-year-old women, 84-year-old men, they don't get kidnapped. They don't get abducted. This again, it is not making any sense. And an abduction, like you took her, why? Like why? Well, the obvious answer is always comes back, well, for ransom, right? Her daughter's rich. Her daughter's rich and famous. She's got $1 million house. You know, she's living by herself. She's vulnerable, so we're going to take her and hold her for ransom. But if that's the case, the kidnapper or kidnappers have made no direct contact with the family, which again gets back to this makes no sense. If you're going to kidnap someone and you're kidnapping for ransom, you know, there's a little back and forth. We've seen that movie how many millions of times? But no communication. Alleged communication from someone who alleges to be the kidnapper to the media, to TMZ. Again, this makes no sense. It just doesn't. Meanwhile, think about the number of law enforcement officers on this case. Pima County, still looking for help. They've got hundreds of men and women on the case. The feds are in this, the FBI. And they're still looking for help. They're looking for tips. They're looking for videos. They're looking for something. Makes no sense. How could that guy that we see on that video be that elusive and that good at kidnapping? It doesn't make sense to me. But here we are. Here we are. So there's been actions by law enforcement, right? Following up leads and tips, etc. One of the big ones was over last weekend, and we're getting a little more information about that. Remember last weekend they raided a house, but they also seized a vehicle, a Range Rover. So this is in the Culver's parking lot. 2 people were in that Range Rover. It was pulled over. They were detained. They were released, but the Range Rover was seized. Like, what led to the warrant to seize the?
Now, I haven't heard, and I don't think I can get the I don't think I can get the affidavit for this, but I've heard that they haven't returned this vehicle yet. So that's telling me two things. One, they're either still going through this thing here, or they might have found something in this here that they're trying to get tested. But I don't know yet. It's been how long? This has been Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. It's been about a week they've had this vehicle.
The Range Rover. What led to the warrant to go inside of that house? Well, we're getting at least some confirmation now about the driver of that car. And this is from 12 News. 37-year-old Luke.
Yeah, that's for sure. That's what I'm talking about. Like, my wife's grandmother drove right up until she was 97, 96 when she died. So she drove. They have the perp's DNA, but no match. No match to CODIS. So they don't have. That's telling me they don't have a suspect. And if they have, especially if they're going to do the genealogy stuff. But I've been told that she couldn't get around. This woman here couldn't get around because of her pacemaker. She had a hard time breathing or any type of labor like that for more than 10 or 15 minutes. So, which is why I'm surprised they had her get into an Uber to get to her daughter's house that's 10 minutes away. I mean, that doesn't make any sense. I'm not blaming anybody. I'm just saying I probably wouldn't do that to my mother. I mean, I'd make dinner at like 6 and then pick her up at like 5:30 or whatever. Because January 31st, there's no real, I mean, it might have been somebody's birthday or something, or I don't know. But I'm pretty sure Andy lives like 10 minutes down the street. And I don't even think it's that far. I think it's like 2 miles. It's not far at all from her house. So, I don't know. This whole 532 take an Uber. Now, maybe she wanted to take an Uber. Maybe she doesn't like Andy's husband or something like that. But and maybe that's why. But somebody drove her home. And that was him. So that's just strange to me. That doesn't make any sense to me. But there's a lot of things that don't make sense to me.
Daly and his 77-year-old mother were both removed from their home 2 miles away from Guthrie's home in the hours of February 13th. Daly's attorney in other unrelated criminal cases, Chris Salepi, issued the following statement. Salepi Law can confirm that Luke Daly was the subject of 2 search warrants issued and served on February 13th, 2026. Mr. Daly and his mother were both detained by law enforcement while the search warrants were being executed. Neither Mr. Daly nor his mother were arrested in connection to this case or any other. Mr. Daly has no link whatsoever to Nancy Guthrie and has no information related to her kidnapping. Like the entire Tucson community, both Mr. Daly and his...
Okay, so let's go here for a second. Because like I said, I got some... Exactly. Maybe that was the Uber driver at the door. Maybe the Uber driver had a friend in the car. All right, so let's go here. I want to go to this here. Hold on a second here. Did they boot me? Probably. Let's go here. Hold on a second here. No, it's right here. Okay, so this is I just did some numbers in the Crime Data Explorer from the FBI. And I think this was done in 2023. No, wait a minute. This is totals from February 2021 to February 2026. So this is aggravated assault by population. I do want to go back for a second here. Shit. Hold on a second here. Crime, let's do crime. And I don't want to do aggravated assault. I want to do, hold on a second here. Let me get back down to where I was. So we have kidnapping. Okay, so this is kidnapping and abduction reported by population. This is in the United States, obviously. And here's okay, so this blue line here, United States offenses, clearances, population coverage, and then we have clearances here. There's a little bit of a bump here. What I want to do is go down. So offenses 245,000, pretty much rounded up to 245.5. And they've cleared 140 in kidnapping and abductions reported by population. But what I wanted to do is I wanted to go down here. So this is the offender age here. So obviously most of the offender age is 30 to 39. The victim age is all over the place here. Victim age 20 to 29, that's probably the highest. But if you look down in here, 0 to 9, that's obviously usually family. Nobody, nothing, maybe 1%, 80 to 89, 684. And that's from 2022 to 2026. I'm sorry, 2021 to 2026. So it happens, but it's, I mean, very small. It's a very small population here. And victim's relationship to offender here. These are some numbers too. Relationship unknown is probably up there, but usually it's boyfriend, girlfriend. Almost, I'd say 60-70% of the time. Neighbor, very small. So what I'm saying is usually these things are done by people they either know or the strangers in there too. You can get all of this stuff on the FBI crime database here, but this obviously the majority is going to be female here. Offender sex is normally male. See here. All right, so let's go back to this here. The first thing I would have investigated, if it was me, is if this was an attempt to kidnap this lady out of her house, I would have checked hospitals, nursing staffs, visiting nurses, hospice care, stuff like that. Because whoever did this, and if this was, say this was a kidnapping gone wrong, obviously they needed to have somebody that knew something about medical, because you're just not going to kidnap this person at 84 and expect her to live long. So somebody like that, I would have seen if anybody had taken some time off lately, somebody had called out sick the last few days, especially locally. Because in my opinion, if this was a kidnapping gone wrong, they would have had somebody that had some sort of medical training. That's just my opinion. All right, let's go back to, hold on a second. This here.
His mother are hopeful that Nancy will be returned to her family unharmed. And the two warrants, one was for the car, one was for the home. One was for the Range Rover, the other's for the home. So again, something led them there, right? So they had to get there somehow. Is this dead in the water at this point? Like the lawyer's just putting it to bed. Like, of course, that's what he's going to say, even if the person was involved, but the person wasn't arrested. But they took his truck. They went in the house. Let's bring in our think tank. Joining me tonight.
We love you, Heather. We hope you're doing well. If you go to sleep, that's okay. I'm pretty much notorious for putting people to sleep here on this live. But we love you very much. We hope you're well. And if you go to sleep, I'll see you next week at some point. You're amazing. Heather is just an amazing human being, period.
Former sex crimes prosecutor Stacey Honowitz. Also,
I'm also wondering if this is budding serial killer, maybe.
So with us, criminal defense attorney Cindy Rushing, and finally, trial attorney Marlo Greer is here as well. Great to see.
Because there are some wackos out there, you know. Oh, good. Gretchen's still here. It's good to see you. I'm going to say goodbye to you now before I forget, because I usually forget Gretchen when I sign off here. So thank you so much, Gretchen. You're so amazing. I love all your support. You guys are so supportive here. You guys are so amazing. I couldn't do this without you, for sure. But I appreciate everybody that stays up this late to listen to my bullshit. All right, here we go.
Everyone, big picture here. Is any of this making sense to you, Stacey?
No, I mean, we've discussed this in the past. Nothing makes sense in this case. And unfortunately, what we keep seeing is these leads that turn into nothing. But, you know, Vinny, very early on, we were talking about why it's so important that the public, that we keep it in the press, because the public has an interest. And most of the time, a lot of these cases, it's the public that's helping to generate these leads. Maybe they know something, maybe they have a tip. And as a result,
You're speaking truth, man. I mean, you know, I think another thing that's going on in this case here is I don't think they're getting a lot of help from the general public down there. For one, I think because it's possible that whoever the, you know, ethnicity is down there, I would assume is got a lot of a Latino presence down there. And last thing they would probably want to do now is go have feds at their door. That's just my opinion, and I think that might be a huge problem, because if you have evidence, or I don't want to say evidence, but you know, I don't know if you want the feds around. That's just just saying.
Result of this tip or this lead, you need the manpower to go and investigate each one. And that's what the issue is here. There are thousands upon thousands of tips in this case, but is the manpower there? We know we have the sheriff's.
And you can't be hiding things from the public right now down there. You know, if you want help from them, you got to be pretty upfront. Just my opinion.
Office, and we've got the FBI, but is that enough to track down all of these things that are coming in? So when you ask the question, does this make sense? Of course it doesn't. We're 2.5 weeks in with nothing. And so every single day we are waiting.
See, when I sign off at the end of my streams, I probably should write down all the people who were here early, because I can't scroll all the way up in the chat. So, I mean, I haven't tried that on the video side, but in StreamYard anyways, I can't. So I usually forget people, which is no excuse. That's just me. Sorry.
Waiting for something to come to fruition. But right now, we thought the DNA was maybe going to be a hit.
I definitely think there's two people involved here. I don't think one person is capable of doing this. I just don't. And I don't think that if anything happened to her, happened to her there, and if it did happen to her there, it's probably just an accident. And that could be the case too. You know, maybe they broke into the house. This could be a mistaken identity too. This could be something where they just hit the wrong house.
With CODIS, that's, you know, right now that's gone. That didn't amount to anything. But it's my understanding that they are going to do genealogy. Maybe they're going to do trace DNA. The case has to keep going, and they have to keep relying on the public to submit any information that they.
I'll be shocked if this case is solved by DNA. I really will. Just, I think victimology here is important. I think the motive here is very important too. You got to get to the victimology here and the why to this is important here. I don't think. I mean, I highly doubt that the typical forensics are going to do anything here.
Might have.
We're getting close to 3 weeks here, Sydney. And there's a lot of law enforcement power being invested into this case.
We love Paula too. Paula's just amazing. She's always on my toes here, making sure I go live. Paula's got a great channel too. She does awesome work. Paula's awesome. Amazing.
Case with no results yet. Do you think what happened here with the Range Rover and the home is the beginning of something or a dead end?
So I think it's the beginning of something. So just because the attorney says that they have not been arrested in connection with this, that doesn't mean they've been cleared of it. Obviously, they've taken in the vehicle. They're going to.
I agree. I don't think the longer they have that vehicle is telling me that they're it could be onto something, and they're waiting for something to come back from a lab or I don't know. I'm pretty sure this has some sort of a history, like an OnStar thing to it in this vehicle. Who knows?
Going to be doing, data or DNA searching on that and all kinds of, searches. Same thing with the house. But just because they haven't issued charges yet doesn't mean that they're completely clear. They may not have enough to arrest them at this time. But again, after putting, all these things together, they may come up with enough probable cause to arrest them. This could lead to somewhere. But again, like you said,
you just take the victim, right? This is an 84-year-old female. Like, what is she gonna do, right? I mean, 5'5", 150 pounds. I mean, this woman here, other than the fact that she's kind of well known in that area, there's really no reason to take her if you're going to be doing an abduction or a ransom. And I don't want to say they haven't received credible evidence that this is there's been a ransom note, but by now you would have thought that they would have had at least some sort of communication with the perpetrators. It's just because I did that too. Hold on a second here. I do. Hold on a second here. And the only thing I could find was, hold on a second here. Let me get out of this for a second. The only other I put into AI, who was the oldest person to ever get kidnapped? And based on reported cases, 83-year-old Werner Hildenbrand, and I think we did this earlier, is one of the oldest known kidnapping victims in the United States. But what's strange here is they have her already in here. So they already have Nancy Guthrie in here, right there, as an abduction. They're calling this an abduction at this point. So, that's telling me that they have evidence at the crime to tell them that this is an abduction. What's your additional theory, Quad? I'm wondering if this was older teenagers too. All right, what am I doing? I'm going to go here. Stop sharing that.
we're almost 3 weeks in.
I just, I feel so bad for this woman here and her family because I got a mother too, and when stuff like this happens, man, you know, this sick individual, whoever this is, I think they're pretty much psychotic. Some sort of obviously is an animal. This person's an animal, and they need to be off the streets. They don't need to be in society, regardless. This woman probably, it's the type of woman, it's the type of person like you go over their house to get cookies, right? Like cookie and just a wealth of knowledge. I mean, this is just sad. This sucks.
And there's all of this manpower going in, and we have nothing. They have nothing to go on. I think that's making this very difficult.
And I think about what it wasn't just a home here, Marlo. It was a home and the Range Rover. So I'm wondering if maybe the Range Rover, maybe it was out the morning that she disappeared, and maybe it drove through the neighborhood or past the neighborhood, and that was part of the reason for this stop. Do you think that's possible? Because it was a vehicle and a home.
Well, I think what also doesn't make sense is Range Rover guy going to shop at Walmart? I mean, there is a Target, right, in Pima County, but you're right, none of it makes sense. The only thing that you could think of is going back to the public and the neighborhood. It could have just been a neighbor tip that said, hey, there's this guy down the street. He's kind of creepy. I think he has a criminal background. Maybe you should check into him. And so,
early on in the investigation, early on in this case, I kind of glossed over the fact that this might have been a targeted attack, right? Because the first thing that comes to your mind is somebody's taken this poor person. But the more I think about this case, the more I'm starting to lean more towards maybe somebody just had something out for this family. Maybe a jilted lover of Savannah, maybe somebody who just was obsessed with Savannah, maybe somebody that just had something against this family, or just wanted to put the screws in his family. I've been starting to think that way. In fact, if I was to do a percentage thing, that would be about 30% for me, because this just seems to me just kind of seems so targeted. But I'm not buying the kidnapping thing. It to me sounds like somebody is trying to, revenge here, or some sort of sick, twisted game. It just sucks. It's awful. Because I don't think they've contacted the family at all, but I don't know they have. So I can't say that, but I just think somebody's got it out for these people, and I don't know why.
They do some digging and potentially get that warrant, take the Range Rover away, and they're going to take a while to search it. We don't know what's going to happen after they search it, but it really could just be
this whole driveway. I mean, you wouldn't. Where are these people going to park? Right? Like if you pull up here, I know it's early in the morning, so there's probably not a lot of people around here, but you got all of these homes here with, I'm assuming that a percentage of these homes have probably motion detector lights, right? So even if you're driving up in here and you stop in the driveway with your headlights off, you're probably going to, I mean, this is not the optimal, a scoop and score here, right? You got to get in here. You got to get this person out. It doesn't seem like the optimal. Now, unless somebody went around the back here and then took her out this way. I wonder if she's got a car in here. I don't know. This doesn't seem to be like the most optimal place to kidnap somebody. That's all I'm saying.
Be as simple as that, is that they're looking for people to narrow down near the neighborhood. Like you said, why her? Why go to her house? She's 84 years old.
Yeah, I'm with Charlotte on this. This whole thing, the kidnapping sounds great until you get to the porch, right? The kidnapping sounds really great until you get to the porch, because if you're kidnapping this person and she's bleeding on the floor, and it's, You know, I'm shocked that they don't have a blood splatter analyst there that can tell how that blood was dropped there on the port. They must know kind of how this person was bleeding, right? Where was I going with that? The whole kidnapping thing. Like if you're taking this woman out, she's already bleeding. What are you doing with her? That's what I'm saying. You get to the porch, it just kind of falls apart for me. I think she died early on. That's why there's no proof of life. Or was someone obsessed with Savannah? Yeah, I mean, I've early on in the case, I didn't think that as much, but now, you know, absolutely. At least one ransom note allegedly said, NG will be returned in 12 hours after ransom paid. Drive time to Grand Junction is about 11.75 hours. Yeah, I mean, I'm with Charles. I don't see the reason for that. I don't see the reason for, you know, the gain. I just don't.
Old. So is this a crime of
Now, you know, and maybe they broke into her house, demanded her credit card, or demanded a debit card and said, tell us the PIN. We're going to send somebody out to get some money out of your account. But they would have a money trail for that, right? They would have, you would think that the investigators would have some sort of a money trail. So I'm kind of discounting that because it just doesn't make any sense. They would have, you know, that information. Maybe they do. I don't know.
opportunity where there's somebody that knows her in the neighborhood and somebody else, another neighbor, gave a tip and said, hey, this dude's weird. Check him out.
Now, more information from
Vinny. Oh, sorry.
I have some more information for you. I'm going to serve it right up to you, Stacy. Luke Daly, this is according to 12 News. Luke Daly, the same man we're talking about here, may be a familiar name to law enforcement in southern Arizona. Served a 1.5-year prison sentence, 2019 to 2020, for solicitation of drugs, criminal damage, and flight from law enforcement convictions. Then in 2022, arrested, later convicted of drug distribution charges, sentenced to 4 years of probation, arrested again in early 20.
That's what I mean. I mean, they have blood splatter analysts now that can pretty much determine where she was bleeding from, probably how she was bleeding, what kind of droplet it was. And I haven't heard of any spatter in the house. I haven't heard of any spatter going out to a car. It's just right there on the porch, right? It's just there. So maybe they wrapped her up there on the porch, or maybe they had a bag over her head. I hate to sound like triggering like that. Sorry, but I don't know. It just seems there's blood spatter there and then nowhere else. What? I mean, that doesn't make sense. You would think there'd be blood in a car. So if they haven't found blood in the car yet.
25 by Marana police in possession of fentanyl and a gun. A probation officer has filed to revoke his probation, but a judge allowed him to continue on probation in the community. Luke Daly's DNA would be in CODIS because of his prior criminal history. There have been 0 confirmed DNA matches from any of the evidence collected. And to me, that's a big deal, right? This is someone who has a record. So his DNA.
It's not him. They have, I mean, unless he's kind of like a co-conspirator. I don't know.
Would be a match if they have DNA they're running against, his would be there. But apparently it wasn't.
Yeah, I know. And listen, the idea that the neighbors might have said, listen, this guy has a record, the police are going to be on top of that very quickly. I mean, look, the fact of the matter is you're going to be more suspect if you do have a criminal record and you're living in that neighborhood and you possessed a weapon. So they have to go down every avenue. And I would think that in the beginning of this investigation, like we see in many cases that don't even involve abductions, but just robberies, burglaries, where they go to all the neighbors, because most of the neighbors have Ring or Nest or some kind of video footage, that's probably the first place that they're looking at. who was in the neighborhood, who was driving by, was there a car in the area? So this car might have been a drive-by, and they have to go down every lead or every tip they possibly can because.
And I think that's the confusing thing about this case is they have so many people going in and out of that house because she's pretty much alone there. I mean, like I said, she's probably got everything delivered to her. And then, people who do maintenance around the house, you gotta believe that there's a lot of people going in and out of that house all the time. So to find any DNA in there, you're gonna find a ton of DNA. I'm pretty sure she's probably got a maid or some sort of a housekeeper that comes in. I mean, this is a pretty good sized house, right? I would think she's probably got all kinds of people doing stuff for her. So DNA is going to be tough because there's probably a lot of it in there.
Right now, nothing is panning out. And so you have to be able to take.
And how'd they get in there? You would think they would have had I haven't heard anything about, usually they come out and say no forced entry or forced entry. Usually they say, all these kind of things, and you haven't heard anything yet. Nothing at all. That makes a big difference whether, and I'm not certain that they weren't already in the house.
Every lead, very serious. I mean, you really do. But again, you're fighting manpower and you're against so many leads. There's only so much you can get done in a certain period of time. So that's what we're up against in this case. Time, because she's elderly, she's sick, she's on a pacemaker.
Criminal Network is awesome too. Awesome job. They've been on site and has shared details of red fluid inside the home and a broken light fixture, but didn't state location inside the house. Right. Yeah, I mean, she's a patient. There's probably going to be blood all over the place in there. But that's just, she probably gets blood taken once a month. I think he said it was in the front hallway by the door. That would make sense. And I've seen the blood spatter on the terracotta out front of the house. Pretty sure that's terracotta anyways. It's not that much. She could have had a nosebleed. You don't know. I mean, older people bleed. You could just sometimes poke them. Sometimes, they're not, this is just a horrible case. I don't even want to talk. It's just horrible, terrible. This poor woman. She had no idea what happened. She was probably, she could have been sleeping. Who knows? Horrible.
So you've got that working against you, coupled with 30,000 leads and not that many people to be able to go over it. And then you're asking the sheriff every single day in these press conferences, what's going on? And his response is, I'll get my team. I don't know if you saw it. Somebody asked about a pinky ring in the glove. And I was waiting for him to say, we're on it. We're looking at that. We're trying to decipher. And I heard him say, I'm going to get my team on this 2.5 weeks later. So I think that's what people are very frustrated about on top of everything else.
So there's one other aspect of this Luke Daly. Again, presumed innocent, detained, not arrested. Lawyer says has nothing to do with this, and there's no indication that he does have it.
That's my point. I mean, it just doesn't, I wouldn't think it would just stop all of a sudden. I mean, no forced entry was stated early on. Rear sliding door was usually unlocked. So, in my opinion, entry gained there and the guy at the front door was waiting. It could be, for sure. I still believe the person on the front porch knew there was a camera there. He had all the clothing on. I mean, he knew he didn't want to be seen. It wasn't like somebody just walked up to the house and, what do they call that? An unorganized thing where you're just walking around the neighborhood looking for some easy thing to steal and came up to the door. He had everything on that he could have to have without being seen. So it's telling me he knew there was a presence of a camera there. It's just my opinion.
Anything to do with this other than the fact that he was stopped and detained and a seizure of his vehicle and a search of the house that he was living in. take a look at Luke Daly and a sketch that was made by Lois Gibson. Now,
this is what I'm talking about, right? And I like Vinny. I think Vinny's a good guy. But this is what they tell social media not to do. They did this in Delphi. Remember, they said, don't put side-by-side photos together, right? This guy isn't a suspect. They're saying he's not a suspect. And here, look what they're doing. They're taking this image that this woman came up with. Granted, she has some knowledge and stuff behind this, but we don't know. And now they're putting this guy next to this guy. It just... They tell social media not to do that, and here they are doing it. So who, and the mainstream media like this is going to say it's social media. No, you guys are doing it right here, right?
Lois Gibson, very well-renowned sketch artist, worked for law enforcement for many, many years. But we know in this case, the suspect was wearing a mask. So this was the rendition on the left that she came.
All I'm saying is it's when it's mainstream media, it's okay. But if social media does this, it's not okay. What?
Came up with based upon, take a listen to Lois here, explain how she came up with this sketch that, maybe looks a little bit like this guy.
Now, what I could see on this mask, I can see the eyes. I can see the philtrum area. I can see the hair right here. And I'm assuming he doesn't do a Hitler shave job with just hair here. The mustache goes all the way around. And then I assumed a lot of stuff. Okay. I guessed, yes, guilty as charged. I guessed at everything that's covered by the face mask. But this is desperate.
So she concedes that, right, okay, there were certain things I knew, and then I sort of...
In my opinion, the guy on the right looks like Adam Sandler, and this guy on the left looks nothing like... They did this in Delphi, too. It's just so weird.
...of guessed at what he could potentially look like. And again, Luke Daly has not been charged. Yes, he was detained for a short while, was released, and has proclaimed his innocence and actually wants the suspect found. The reason I put that up, though, Sydney, do you think that had any because it was everywhere. The sketch was everywhere. Do you think that had any influence on law enforcement in this?
Oh, for sure. Because like you said, they ran some of the DNA and some of the items they found, and they have nothing that's came out. Now they get this sketch artist who comes in, she's well known for doing this. She sketches this out, and then they run that against their database, and boom, it hits on Mr. Daly, who has a criminal history, who lives close, and of course now he does resemble this photo. And although she said she guessed on a lot, the resemblance is uncanny. So I definitely think that this picture, the sketch, had a lot to do with how they found Mr. Daly to begin with.
So Marlo, and I want to go around the horn with this. 0 to 10, how close?
This is how they're going to get themselves into trouble, because, if they're going to a judge and saying, this is the information that we have and we need a warrant for this, based off of a sketch that was done by somebody who's guessing that this is what the suspect looks like, and we need a warrant for that. Yeah, okay, sure. I mean, that could be 35 to 45% of the population down there. This is when they could be getting themselves into trouble by getting search warrants based off of that stuff. I mean, and that's why people are shutting up. That's my opinion. That's why people aren't saying a lot down there. They don't want any trouble with the feds right now. And if they're getting warrants based off of information like that and barging into people's homes, and that you can tell that's what they do.
Do you feel like we are here in all of this? And then explain your reason for your number. 0 being we are, as close.
It's almost identical. It's so funny how they can do it again. I agree, Tracy, 100%.
As we were the moment this happened. 10 being, he's about to be caught.
I probably looked at the Delphi Bridge guy video 10 times. That's it. Because the longer you look at something, the more it just becomes distorted. It becomes almost like an obsession. Like you tend to see things that you know, normally wouldn't see if you just watched it 1 or 2 times. I mean, it's just, it becomes redundant.
Look, I still think we're at a 2. I think when you said none of this makes sense, that's how we opened this segment. None of this makes sense. And I think that's why we're still at a 2. The sketch, I mean, that's one heck of a guess, right? If it matches. And you can shoehorn anything in. I mean, think about it with what you gave us with a criminal history. He's a drug addict. And that's, possession of fentanyl, running away from the police. I mean, those are very clear drug addict behavior. So can you then shoehorn in, oh, he's high on fentanyl, and so he grabs a plant. Maybe I'll do that. I'm going to cover my camera with a plant. I mean, those things fit in. But do I really think we're close? I don't. I want to. I want to say we're close. I want to say we were close a week ago. You want to give this family hope, but it's just dwindling day by day.
Stacey, 0 to 10.
God, I hate to give it a number. I really do, because I'm hoping that maybe.
No, those are the
now,
rules.
knowing
I need a number here, Stacey.
Knowing what we know right now, I would say I would have to agree with it too. Am I hoping that maybe they're keeping some things close to the vest, like we talked about the other night? Maybe he's not spilling all of the beans, letting all of this evidence out. My theory is, though, if he's going to abduct this woman and stay in the neighborhood, I mean, that kind of doesn't make sense to me either. Was he trying to rob her? Was anything missing from the house? I mean, all of these theories just keep going along. I mean, it doesn't make sense, Vinny. It just doesn't. So right now, with what we know, I would have to say, under a 5, because we just don't know.
Sydney.
My outlook is even worse. I still think we're at a 0, to be honest. We have so many different avenues of what this is. First, it was an abduction. Then it was, potentially the family. Then it's potentially this other person. There's so much here. And I honestly feel like the sheriff is not doing enough. I don't think that he's not acting with haste, in my opinion. I think he's taking this as a very slow motion type thing. Maybe he hasn't dealt with something like this, especially on this level. But I still think we're at a 0. We have we're not any closer to figuring out what actually happened. How did she actually get out of the house? Where did, who took her? Why? Is there there's nothing. We have nothing. There's a lot of stuff, but nothing that's put together to even put us on track to try and get somebody.
Yeah.
I mean, if you go with the kidnapping ransom thing, you have to believe that these people probably planned this out, or at least it's some sort of initial, reconnaissance on this thing. And I would think that if it was that, somebody in this realm of people doing this would have to have some sort of a medical knowledge to take care of this woman, knowing that she's on a pacemaker, right? Like, it just, so I would be checking hospitals, anybody that has some sort of a medical training in the area. I would be checking into that lead. Like, anybody take some time off from work the last couple of weeks, anybody, asked to have the day off or something like that, night off, whatever, something like that. But I don't think it's that. I just don't. I don't think that's it's possible. But chilling in this cave will go cold and stay cold for years, forever. I'm hoping it doesn't. Good to see you, chilling 286. I just think that's just good to see you for sure. I hope you're doing well too. I just think that going back to where the hell were we? Going back to the initial investigation, the initial timeline that we posted a little bit earlier. There's a lot to be answered there, and I think in this case here, victimology in this case is going to be everything. And I know that a lot of cases are different because you don't really need a motive. Like if it's a serial killer, or if it's a sex related crime or something like that, you don't really need a motive. I mean, it's obvious kind of. But in this case here, I think a motive, trying to develop a victimology and a motive behind this is going to probably crack this case. I don't think your typical, standard operating procedures are going to do anything here. All right, so let's get out of here. I'm definitely going to keep an eye on this. Let's see here. I did want to play this here, and then I'll get out of here. You guys have been so awesome tonight. Let me share this here. Once the media leaves mainstream, anyways, you know that this case is, and I'm pretty sure the sheriff is going to have an ooh-ah moment when that happens, because I don't think he was prepared for this. I don't. And there's, in my opinion, now there's way too many, people there. It's just oversaturated now. I think these cases, like I said, they did the same thing in Delphi. They had so many people there at the initial investigation. There was just too many. All right, so I remember talking to you guys about the fact that people do go missing when they want to, and it does happen. This woman here, hold on a second here. See if I can get back up here. After 24 years, Rockingham County woman found alive in North Carolina. So a woman reported missing in December 2001 has been located and alive in North Carolina. The Rockingham County Sheriff's Office said Friday. And a lot of times people leave because they're either want to or they're being fear for their life. I mean, people do disappear a lot voluntarily.
Shocking breaking news tonight on WFMY News 2 at 11. A Rockingham County woman who's been missing for 24 years has been found alive and well. Michelle Hundley Smith disappeared while Christmas shopping back in 2001. While she's safe tonight, deputies say she doesn't want anyone to know where she is. All we know is that she was found in North Carolina. As you can imagine, this is a major development for Smith's family that spent more than 2 decades looking for her. WFMY News 2's Christina Dillon talked to one of her cousins about the moment she learned Michelle was alive.
For decades.
You're welcome, Mustang. Thank you. Thank you for being here.
Barbara Bird held on to a feeling that her cousin Michelle was still out there. Tonight, after 24 years of questions, she can finally say it out loud.
I kind of want to go outside and scream, she's alive, she's alive.
That's how Barbara Bird describes the moment she got the news. Her cousin, Michelle Hundley Smith, has been found alive. Smith was a 38-year-old mother when she left her Eden home in December 2001 to go Christmas shopping in Martinsville, Virginia. She never came home, and her car was never found. For years, her family didn't know whether they were grieving or waiting. They gave interviews, asked for tips, kept her name in the public eye, featuring her story on Dateline and true crime podcasts. Was it an accident, foul play, or did she walk away? They never knew until today.
The answer I got today was she was alive. Nothing else matters right at this moment.
Rockingham County deputies say they learned new information about her whereabouts this week through a nationwide law enforcement network. So they followed the lead and found her, alive and well. They say she's still in the state, but at her request, deputies say they're not sharing her location. The sheriff's office says it doesn't expect to file any charges. For family, there are lots of lingering questions.
What happened all them years ago in December? What made you leave? What happened?
Bird says she's not angry and respects her cousin's request for privacy. Years ago, Smith's youngest brother asked Bird to keep a promise before he passed away. Tonight, she says she can finally keep it.
He asked me to promise that we would find her. And I'm going to say this out loud. She's okay, Brian.
Bird says Smith is still loved in Rockingham County, and she hopes one day they might have a conversation.
But I would love to hear you say I'm okay. When I'm ready, I'll talk to you.
Smith's daughter Amanda told us she's still processing this news and plans to say more in the coming days.
I'd like to say that that was a good story, but I wanted to play this one here too, because I'll be following this here this week here. This is a newer case. This is out of Utah, so let's play this one here.
It started as a typical Valentine's Day morning for Kate's Utah family, but it ended in heartbreak hundreds of miles away.
Step out of the car. Walk back. Walk back.
My brother says it's so strange to wake up and have his coffee and her not come in and talk to them.
21-year-old Katrina Tavmaj, or Kate as her family would call her, moved to Utah 3 years ago.
They had came over with their family to escape the Ukrainian war as refugees in 2023, and they settled in St. George.
Kate lived in southern Utah until her parents divorced and her mother remarried and moved to North Carolina.
As a refugee, you know, she had a lot of ambition and want to get to know the states and to travel.
During her travels, she met her former boyfriend, Caleb Fosnoff.
Kate came in and showed him such love. She was there for him in times that were hard. That's why she went to live with him in Ohio. He clung to that connection with her, and when she left, he just felt like he had nothing.
The relationship wasn't working out.
When she was moving home from Ohio, she'd been friends with and talking with Matthew Wade. He is a military service member that was stationed there in Fort Bragg.
The two eventually started dating, and on Valentine's Day, both were asleep in her North Carolina home with her siblings next door when officials and family say Fosnoff showed up.
Caleb
Look at how cute. Good Lord.
entered in to the home, and he made his way into the room where he proceeded to shoot both of them, and they passed away.
Officials say Fosnoff fled back to Ohio and was arrested later that day.
Stick your hands out the window. Keep walking. Your hands behind your back.
Justice will.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what happened in that case. I'm going to try to get some more information on that other one with the missing person. But, you know, people change in life. People have, you know, mental issues, mental health issues. Obviously, something triggered her that she didn't want. It's still bothering her today. So you never know. I thought that'd be a good news story, but maybe not. I mean, it's just all those people have been waiting for so long to, you know, find out what happened to her, going through all of that, you know, heartache. You know, it kind of sucks, but, you know, she's very, very smart for not wanting her information shared. That's all I can say.
Will be served, but it's just a sad situation, and we hope to find peace in forgiving him.
Thanks to a successful GoFundMe campaign, she will be flown back to St. George to be buried.
We believe we'll see her again, and she's still here with us in spirit.
In Salt Lake City, Carolina Hassett.
All right, so I'll keep following this one here too in the coming week here. I'm going to try to keep on top of some of the information going on out there. Okay. I mean, this sucks. This is the sucky part about true crime, right? There's so many gory stories that happen every single week. You would just wish that there'd be a week where you didn't see any of these. I mean, I've been posting missing kids. Let's go there for a second because hold on a second here. You know, I keep posting these missing kids and adults on my hold on a second here. Let me share this really quick here. Hold on. Where am I? Right here. Okay. Get out of this here. It's just so awfully sad. It's just every week there's more that I got to post here. This is I wanted to go over this tonight too. This is out of Arizona again here. Amber Alert has been issued for 3-year-old Kalani Marie Rogers. Was kidnapped from her home in Avondale Friday night. There's that one there. The missing Delia Gonzalez, 16-year-old there. Madison Police Department is seeking public for this here. All right, hold on 1 second. I thought I left my dog out there the whole time, but I let him in early. Okay, sorry. And there's this is one that I reshared for Mustang here in Southern Cal, but there's just so many. It just sucks. So anyways, I'm gonna get out of here. Always good to see everybody. Hope everybody has a good week. Thank you, Tracy, for coming in. Thank you, Quad. You're so awesome. I look forward to having some content from you soon. Don't rush. Unindicted co-conspirator, good to see you. Thank you so much for coming in. If anybody wants a wrench, let me know. I'll give them a wrench. Paula, thank you so much. You're awesome. Can't do this without you. Paula's amazing. Mustang, you same. You're awesome. Always good to see Mustang here. Hope you're well. Chillin', thank you very much for coming in. Appreciate it. Always good to see new people here. Charlotte, you're the best. Can't say enough about Charlotte. She's a wealth of information. She's just great. And it's not just that. She's just a great person. It's always good to see Charlotte here. Let's see here. I know Becky was here. I know Chuck was here. I know Miranda. Miranda's awesome. Miranda's an amazing person. So isn't Heather. It's always good to see Heather here. Miranda, I hope you're well. Boston Christian, sorry to hear about your mom. We'll dedicate this live to your mom. Sorry to hear about that. Dom was in here. Gretchen was in here. Good to see Gretchen. Good to see Dom. And like I said, I'm probably not going to. Fiend was in here. It's good to see Fiend. Not going to be able to say goodbye to everybody tonight because I'm not going to be able to scroll up. I know Becky was in here. Gretchen, Lita Joe was in here. It's always good to see Lita Joe. Let's see here. Chuck was in here. Mino Dino was in here. Heather's amazing. Heather's an amazing person. It's always good to see Heather. She's freaking awesome. We love Heather here. Let's see here. Dewey Ox was in here. It's good to see Dewey Ox. Shibby was in. I hope Shibby's well. Big Fish was in. Big Fish is amazing. It's always good to see Big Fish in here. Let's see here. If I miss anybody, I apologize. I can't scroll all the way up to the top. A lot of times. And everybody that watches on the replay, I really appreciate that. You guys are amazing people who come in and watch this recorded here. I appreciate that a lot. All right, I'm gonna get the hell out of here. Boston Christian, if I missed anybody, I really apologize because Paula was here first. Paula's always here first. Paula's amazing. Thank you so much, everybody. You guys are amazing. It's always good to see everybody here. Like I said, I appreciate all of the help and support. You guys mean the world to me. Just stay safe. Whatever you guys do, don't die. We don't want that. And stay safe. That's all I can say. That's all I can do. We'll see you guys next week. If anything happens in any of these cases, I'll try to give you guys an update. I'll be back next week. I'll see you guys later. Have a great week.